and myself, and we might have Wayne or maybe Petrol joining us later on as well. For now, we are looking at practice. We already have some people in the server, as you can see here on the background and by what you can hear. Before we do actually look at how people are performing, we're going to have a look at the teams in a second. We're going to look at some liveries, and I'm relying on Tony here for most of the background information, as of course this is my very first season looking at ACRL. And Uncle Tony is our, I'm going to call you veteran, Tony.
It's been, let's say I joined season 1, so it was probably almost 2 years ago. So it's been quite a while. I've seen a bunch of guys come and go. And I think the server just went down.
That could very well be. We might have a couple of hitches. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm getting
so
connection.
I
I'm
watched
always very nervous.
I watched Rukons drive off the track and through a wall, and that's kind of when I thought that there might be a problem.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually close off the game for a second here. So I'll put back this beautiful background picture while I exit the game. We're going to It's a complete British racing green. It's I wonder why that is. Why the change in scheme?
I
I mean,
generally
it's
like
supposed
to
to be a team
approach.
color.
I like to approach teams maybe instead of having mostly red on his, you kind of swap the red and black.
They did. They actually swapped the green with the red with the green.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm waiting for your stream to catch up on the commentating, but
I'm switching between. It is a beautiful looking car and livery. I very much like it. I like the car because it's like the cockpit's like a bloody airplane cockpit, if you will. And what I very much like is the shark fin. We're looking at Formula One 2017 now introducing those shark fins as well,
and
which obviously helps to streamline the air going over the rear wing.
it's a very cool car.
It's insane. It's awesome. Do you have any driving experience with the car? I personally do not.
I have driven it when it first came out. I mostly wanted to try it because I use VR. Megadeth I know does. I know probably about 30% of the league at this point does. And it's such a claustrophobic car inside that cockpit that it was just something I wanted to try. And it's
I know.
it's really cool. The car
What's
itself isn't too hard to drive. It's hard to drive fast.
I'm opening the doors right now, and we're gonna take a look inside. And we do that with the enter button. So let's have a look here, what this looks like, because it is incredible, and it is very tight, like you mentioned. We're taking a look inside right now. So we've got the doors obviously that open. What do you call those doors when they open to the top? Not suicide doors, but yeah. There must be quite a delay on the stream, but obviously that's to make sure it's a bit smooth for everybody. Very stiff suspension though, yeah?
Yes. It's not like the F138 where, if you get on the throttle, just slightly too soon, it's easy to drive, it's hard to drive.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about pit stops earlier. What do you think is going to happen there?
I've heard some rumblings that maybe pit stop. I'm not sure if we're going to see some of these guys try it.
So then we would be talking about 2 stints on medium.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe if they run hards, it might be restricted. I would expect to see, I think, 2 stints.
And then 3 stints on medium, or do you think there's any soft in there?
I can't imagine these guys are going to run softs.
No, I understand that.
Maybe it's possible that they run the first and second stint of mediums a little bit longer than they originally there's definitely there's room for strategy here.
In the meanwhile, I'm just scrolling through some of the other team liveries. So right now we're looking at UWA. Is that a team that you recognize in any way? I'm looking. I mean, this is. I'm going off the livery names right here. So I'm looking through the team name. Oh, that's United We Are, of course. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. And they are.
Yeah.
I'm not even. I think. What's the? Is that Justin?
That is Justin indeed. Yes, with a McDonald's on the side. It's red. It's black. It's nice. I think it's very nice. Let's take a look at the front here. It does remind me a lot of the livery of Supernova, especially the red one.
The United We Are guys.
Yes.
Very creative.
It's actually quite nice. On I just noticed on the Supernova one, the air intake on the top of the cockpit really stands out because it's white on white on red. Sorry, and I think that's really cool. So Justin, he has to be Dutch, considering he's got Jumbo on the front. Jumbo being a Dutch sponsor, and being Dutch myself, I obviously recognize that. So that's really cool. They got Logitech. Logitech is American, I think. Let's have a look here. What else we got? That was United. We had Supernova. We have Phil. What team is this? I don't think the team is listed. What's Phil? Phil. Let's see if we can find him in the list here. Name being Phil VS13.
Phil is Phil's fast.
Which team is this though? Because I can't find a team name anywhere.
I'm not even sure Phil is not on a team.
Ah, so yeah, gotcha. The livery as well is almost completely white. He's got a nice dark red stripe with some blue in there. It's a very simple livery, if you will. But I guess it kind of suits the solo driver. What's that?
Red seems to be the color of choice right now.
Yes,
We're seeing,
absolutely.
and I'm even watching some of these guys right now in practice. Surayan is really simple but cool.
Maybe this is a good moment to shout out as well that obviously there are 2 streams going on at this point. If you're tuned in to my channel right now, Black Mace, then you'll be watching the liveries. And there's also the official ACRL live stream going on that Tony is currently broadcasting. Now I understand he's currently in the practice, or he's in the server watching the practice. So if you feel like you want to have 2 point of views, you can obviously watch both streams if your internet can handle it, if you have enough bandwidth, or you can swap between the 2 of us. Just make sure you only have audio on one stream or you're gonna get very confused. Luca is saying that the track is too cold for mediums, so I don't know if he's being serious there. Obviously softs would warm up quicker, but I don't know. I mean, the track temperature, I don't know what it is, but we saw gray overcast, so it will be a cold temperature track. Interesting. Let's jump into some more liveries. We have Lappen Party. That is the team name, I think. But I'm not seeing them in the list, in the check-in list. Do we know who's driving this car? Okay, well, it's a nice looking livery. We'll just talk about the livery. It's blue. It's got like a fluorescent yellow in there, green. It's, actually, it's nice. It's pretty good looking. I like the rear of the car with this color choice. Very nice. Let's continue on then. We have I don't know how to pronounce his name. Surayan. Very quick. So yes, he's not driving a team, is he? His car is completely white with red again. He's got the livery is asymmetrical, so it's kind of inverted. If you look from the front, you'll see that on one side the top is white, and on the other it's red. It's really nice. Does the same on the wing, on the rear wing. Very nice. All right, let's move on then. We have AGD 63. Not sure if this is a team or just a livery. Yes, it's. Gonna have to pull. Yes, it is a team actually. It's the Dang. It's driving this one. AGD Racing. Again a red, but it's a very patriotic American car. It's got the rear wing, including the intake on the top there is an American flag. So very nice looking. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Very good. All right, moving on then. Let's see what else we have. Oh my gosh, what is this? Bottas for world champion. I don't know who's driving this car. It's purple. It's got a very nice inverted flame on the rear wing.
Is there a name on it?
It just says Bottas for WDC. On the side it says Fire Stingray. Fire Stingray? Is that a driver? No. F0 on the front. F0. I'm not sure. Number 56. This race number is 56. So that would be only Vision. This is quite cool. It's kind of cartoony, I suppose. There's actually a cartoon figure on the top, like a Japanese, I don't know what it is. I'm just not going to identify it because I'll probably just end up offending somebody. There's actually two liveries, a number 56 and a number 209. Who's 209? That would be Origin, Nitrax. Yeah, Nitrax. Very cool. Yep. Awesome. Very good, very good. I need to apologize in advance. I just got some food handed to me, so any noises, I do apologize in advance. I'm looking at another skid here. What time is it? I want to make sure we don't spend more than 30 minutes on this. I mean, time flies.
We have 42 minutes until
Oh, that's good.
And I'll tell you, just watching practice and just seeing so before this race gets going, recently we had these cars lost about 2 seconds. So it's going to make some downright dangerous passes. What they have to do
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. So you said we have 45 minutes until... Okay, that's good. I'm looking at the JMT Racing. That's Samuel and there's Luca as well. There's actually 3 drivers. Is it 3 or 4? Oh no, there's 4 drivers. 4 JMT drivers. They have split up into teams. We've got Dennis and we've got Luca in JMT Racing number 1, and we have Samuel and we have Oscar Pink in JMT Racing number 2. See, this is what I really like. I think it's really cool when there's 4 people, a single team, and then split up. So right now we are looking at this beautiful car. It's white, very creative stripes on the sides there. Gray and yellow, orangey. Very nice. This is number 952. That would be, let's see if we can find out who that is. Can't actually find the 952. Numbers might be off. Oh, that's Samuel. Very nice. Very nice car. Oh wow. Okay. So 923. Dennis. This skin is inverted. Same skin, but it's inverted. I think that's weird. Same again for 909. Should that be 908 for Luca? I think there's yeah, I think that's Luca. No, that's not Luca. This is Luca. Also inverted. Yeah, so they have 2 liveries inverted. Very good.
And all 4 of those guys actually came over to ACRL late last season. They were originally in awesome.
Oh, cool. That's very nice.
And they kind of just absorbed into us. What's, you know? Hey,
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, from the little experience that I have with League Racing, open wheel racing, first race we had, I was fighting Luca for quite a while, and the obvious difference there was experience, and obviously experience brings consistency, something that I certainly lack. It's really impressive to see Lucas racing in that particular race. Right now I'm looking at INS. Find out if that's a team. never mind. This is actually a preset. This is not from ACRL. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna jump into the other car. Let's have a look at some of these.
Yeah, there's some. Shout out to especially
On the GT car.
yes,
So that's the KS Lamborghini. Where is it? Huracan. Is it the ST? Or no, the GT3, right? ST, okay. ST. Alright, so I will start this one. And do let us know in the comments as well if you appreciate this kind of streaming. Obviously, we started pretty quick, pretty early, as you should say, actually, with the practice session. I thought it would be cool to give everybody a look at the skins and talk about the teams a little bit. Obviously, don't have to do this every race. It's just an idea, just to set up to see how it works. Exactly, yeah. That's cool. All right, so we're gonna pop back in the showroom. We're looking at the beautiful Lamborghini. Let's talk about the Lamborghini first. Obviously, they'll need to make room for the Porsche. What can you tell us anything about this car, Tony?
like I said earlier, kind of got hit hard by it, but from what these guys have told me, it's pretty stylish. It's very understeery, but it has insane power, which makes it hilarious to drive. So we'll see. I'm just again watching what's happening on the practice circuit right now. These underlines are absolutely flying past these Huracans. So
We were talking track times, and we were looking at 1 minute and 40 seconds for the Porsche, and was it about 1 minute 59?
yeah, it's almost
the,
GTE speed. It's about at
yeah.
the same pace right now.
The car itself, though, is beautiful. It's a really nice car. I'm actually looking at a very nice skin. This is let's find out whose it is. Number 800. We can find that. No, I can't find the number 800. On the side, it says Aika Raiju. Yeah.
Sim racing.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. So
I like this. I mean, I just want to mention that it's got a Reddit, the Reddit alien thingy on the side.
Yeah. Now this is kind of an interesting little story with this team. I believe Aika's teammate is Mustang SVT, who is a North American driver, and Aika is a European.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I know that they're friends. They wanted to race together in GT3, but obviously the regions are split in that series. So I'm sure they're pretty excited that they can race together in GT3
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
their
yeah.
socials.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so skipping past this beautiful livery, let's move on to the next one. So we're looking at, oh wow, this is completely black MCS Racing. Is that McSalton's Racing? Or is that? It must be. That must be Albert's. I'm pretty sure this is Albert's. Number 12? Yeah, it's Albert's. It's not completely black. It's like matte black, charcoal colored. Really nice. The wing then is completely black. The rims are black. Some nice liveries, and of course on the windshield as well, McSalton's Racing. I would have liked to see a couple of extra logos on there. There's a lot of MCS Racing on there.
Well, and this kind of goes back to the fact that this car is going to get swapped out once the RSR is released. So
Yeah.
I kind of think these guys really didn't put a ton of time into their skins for that car, just because, I mean, it could be here for this race only and the RSR comes out next week, or it could be the whole season, we just don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's move on then to the next one here. We have number 95. Oh my God, this is quite impressive. It's a Funatech
Yep, that's Rune.
sponsored. Is that Rune?
I believe so.
Number 95?
Yep, that's Rune. It's incredible.
Nice. Awesome. That's really good. So we've got, there's a lot of detail in this. So the stripes, are they Funatech in any particular fashion? Do you know if this is like a,
I don't believe so. I just know that he uses them as a sponsor for just about every livery he makes.
yeah. Okay. Again, I need to apologize real quick. I'm eating, so any noises, please forgive. I like delivery, and oh
Yeah.
my god,
Oh,
I
it's
actually,
incredible.
I just got surprised by something. Are you watching my stream?
Yes.
So I panned to the other side in a second, and I was surprised. I hadn't noticed.
Oh,
I can't,
on runes.
I can't. Yes, I kind of don't want to spoil it unless you already know.
I know. Yeah, it's a totally different color on the other side.
Yes, it's white. That is freaking sick. This is really cool. It's really stylish. So we have white on one side, and it just fades into the gray on the other side through the pattern, the striping.
Yeah,
Very nice.
he makes his GT3 skins that he made for the Porsches for their team Nassau Racing are incredible, and I think it was him, Renz, and Petrol are all running some derivative of that skin, and he's really good at making little triangles throughout it. It's very cool if you guys get to
Yep.
check that out at some point. It's impressive.
It doesn't have a lot of logos on it. It's got Michelin there in the small. We've got Golf on the front, Fanatec on the side, Blanc Pain on the top there, but that's it. Oh, and some on the side skirts. It's just enough, isn't it? Because the thing with the Lamborghini as well is it's such a stylish car. It kind of has to stay stylish in that sense, I suppose. Moving on to the next one, Robinson for the. That's not a cheat. He's alone. It's nice as well. It's red with black. Is that a flag of any kind? I'm not sure if it is, but it's nice. It's a very simple logo. Grip TV on the side, name on the door. Just let me spin for a second. I'll step away for a minute and be back momentarily. And Tony, just so you know, that means I've muted my mic and the stream too. 7. We are in the server. We have 7 minutes of practice left ahead. And I was just talking to Tony about the lap times, and there is a significant difference between the Porsche and the Lamborghini. Tony, what can you tell us there?
20 seconds per lap. That's pretty much says it all. I mean, it's not a long course by any stretch of the imagination. So we're seeing the Lambos, the fast times are a little under 2 minutes, about 59s. And we're seeing the top lap time right now in the 919 at a 139. So there's going to be a lot of passing. These guys are really going to have to be careful on both ends about not flying into traffic, not smashing people in braking zones. It's going to be an exciting race, but borderline dangerous.
Let's very quickly talk about the track. So we are on Nurburgring.
Correct.
GT track, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
On the GP.
Isn't it? Is it GP? Yeah.
Yes, GP. So it is what you're saying. It's a short track. I don't know the distance exactly, the length. It's got a lot of small, tight turns.
A lot of sweepers too. I mean, the 919s, they don't have to brake as much through some of these. There's definitely going to be some interesting decisions that are going to need to be made on the fly, as far as, you know, waiting for the Lambos to get through a certain section of the track or pushing to try to take it. So, you know, it's I guarantee you there's going to be times when there's going to be a battle broken up because of the traffic, more so here than in, I think, most other tracks. But right now, I got to give a shout out to Pisani. He's got the fastest time in practice. And no, he doesn't. Phil just beat him. Phil just beat him. But yeah, Phil's quick. He's really quick. We'll see. Hopefully someone can keep with him.
I've just moved on to onboard videos as well, or TV cameras as well. So we're in the server. You are doing the same, I'm presuming, right now, Tony?
Yeah, just jumping around here, checking out all the guys driving, see what kind of lines they're doing. But
so we are seeing a lot of people on softs at the moment. Now I know it's practice, so let's see what that means for the actual race.
And I think it's important to note that this practice session started roughly an hour ago on 97% grip. We don't reset in between sessions, so the grip that remains is going to stick.
And
so when we go to quali,
well, the time we're seeing there, 18 minutes remaining, is slightly incorrect. That we will be moving the qualifying ahead of that timer.
Right. Yeah, they're going to be pushing it through. There was I'm not sure exactly what the issue was. There was a small issue with the server. They had to restart it, so they just adjusted the grip accordingly for how much time was lost. I can't imagine it was very much, but all's fair. So we're going to probably start seeing times now slowly creeping down here as we go, especially through quali. And then once race time hits, the track will be moderately gripped in. It'll probably start hitting peak levels, though. I would assume about an hour in.
Black Maze, the track is 16 turns and just over 5 kilometers, so about just over 3 miles or so.
Awesome. That's Wayne. Wayne is obviously reporting in as well to help us out with the commentating.
Yep, Wayne is...
So what's the most exciting turn or sequence of turns on this track, do you think?
I think turn 1, obviously, is going to be where most of the passing's going to probably happen. We see that in real life. We're going to see that here. I think the chicane the final chicane could be interesting. Obviously, this is the GP layout, and that's to try to slow up the 919s a little bit instead of just having them flying through there, because that's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Maybe it's interesting as well to very quickly talk about the track limits. We do have 3 sectors at least, or 3 turns at least, where the track limits are very crucial.
Yeah, I can tell you the exact turns in
I'm going to
1
try
second.
and get my camera there as well. So we're talking about turn number 5 being the first one. Where are we?
Turn 5 is where you come out of the Mercedes arena onto the first longest straight after the start finish.
Exactly. So we have some...
Definitely a chance to extend there a little bit and gain time, especially running wide. I believe in real life, that's technically what I think a lot of those guys do. But here we just say, keep it between the white lines. It's nice and easy. It's tangible. Everyone can see exactly where the limits are. There's no question, because obviously we don't have live stewards.
Yep.
Also, I think a really interesting part of the track is going to be the Schumacher S. I think I can't imagine the 919s are really going to have to lift at all there. Maybe a little bit, but the Lambos definitely will. They're going to be carrying a lot less speed. That could be a very dangerous part of the track to try to pass. And
Yeah,
I would assume we're going to see it at least once or twice throughout the race. It'll be interesting to see how these guys handle that, though.
yeah. So I'm just moving over my camera to the last track limits in turn 14 and 15.
Yep, and that's the
chicane.
that's the chicane. So that's I mean, it kind of goes without saying. Obviously, it's you got to watch the chicanes, but that's it. I mean, those are the two sectors of the track that have been identified as really the areas we're going to be watching for. Those are the spots where people are likely to gain the most time. I mean, if you run wide in turn 1 and you extend out of the track, you're probably losing time, and that seems to be the case with most turns on this track. So we made the decision not to monitor if there's no advantage gained by extending or cutting the track. But we should see it moving over into qualifying here very shortly.
Currently looking at a 159.2 on medium tires, I believe. And then we have Philip at 139, which is, like Tony was saying, exactly 20 seconds of gap difference.
It's substantial.
All right, we just moved to qualifying.
So let's see who's gonna get out first. Phil not flying out.
We've got Sylvain out.
Yeah, Megadeth first out of the pits. Trying hard to get out in front of everyone else. I'm kind of surprised to see Phil still in the pits.
Again, for anybody who's just tuned in, so Sylvain is Megadeth. Quick last minute change in name there on the new season.
But yeah, let's see where things land. Interesting to see Laszlo running in hards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Oscar as well on mediums. We've got Laszlo on hards. Well, he hasn't come out the pits yet, so let's see.
I mean, some of these, I guess it makes some sense. They just would rather run on, the race setup. Just stay used to it. Don't confuse yourself. That's fair. Also, you see Mega locking up his wheels a little bit there. These the 919s do not have ABS, while the Lambos, they have ABS and TC.
Oh shit, we're seeing Oscar go off on the grass already. We're seeing the Lambo traffic.
On an outlap, someone better tell that driver to screw his head on back straight.
Yeah, this is obviously this is not Oscar's outlap.
Hey. Already seeing guys pushing a little harder than they probably want to there.
Let's not forget that this is indeed the first race, right? People will still be getting used to their cars. They will still be getting used to the race pace and the traffic and all that. So we have 25 minutes of qualifying, and then we have a 2-hour race ahead of us.
There we go. Oscar Pink starting his first
gonna do a little mic check here.
No worries.
Everything good?
Yep.
All right.
So Oscar's moving into the final chicane, just a slight lock up on the front left. Nothing significant. Looking very clean.
And do we have? Yeah, we do have Phil. He's out on his.
Oscar went straight back into the pits. He didn't put down a time there.
Yeah. And we see Phil. He's out on his first out lap now, or his first flying lap. So this is obviously the guy to watch in the 919. See what he's going to be able to do here.
In the meanwhile, it looks like Tomas is just starting a flying lap here as well. He's put down a 159, so he just completed a flying lap already.
And Rune, a 10th off him.
Very, very nice. We do see a significant change there. I mean, you'll see that Rune is just a 10th off on mediums, while Tomas is running on softs. So what does that say about the track and these cars?
That is actually really interesting. Rune seemed to think that the track was a little too hot for soft tires in the Lambo, so he might just be running his race setup there. And I mean, if he can be competitive, a 10th off pole
Yep.
on mediums, I mean that's a very good sign for him.
So Philip at 140 and a half of a second.
Surprised to see Pisani, the 152. Might have just had a bad lap, because he was definitely sub 40 in practice. So we should
Yeah, totally.
we should definitely see him jump up there.
Yes, agreed. Run board with Nitrex here, as he's on a hot lap with his purple car. And like you mentioned, that Nitrex as well has shown a real good race pace, right? Came on board last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Nitrax? Boy, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I think he's been around a little while here, but he definitely is one of those guys that was in Pro-Am, and we saw last week. You know, he's up at the in the top split in GT3, and he was.
Oh,
Yeah,
he goes wide there.
And we also see Rune taking pole away from Tomas. Tomas is now in the pits. But a lot of these Lambos are running mediums. I think there's some validity behind the track temps being a little too warm to run softs.
And it does really suck if your setup just doesn't accommodate for the tire change.
And every single 1919 in softs. All
Yep.
of them, across the board. So we see Pisani in second now, the 141. But Phil...
So we had Nitrex run a little bit wide. I think that will have cost him about 0.3 of a second at least. So let's see where he comes out with this lap.
Well, it's also... I mean, there's not many parts of this track that are monitored, so...
Sure. He's going straight back into the pits as well.
Must not have been happy with that. But if they do get a cut warning in qualifying, they have to abort that lap. Or there's a pretty heavy penalty behind it. And we do have that all... That's all tracked via an app that our coding wizards put together.
Yes, again, a huge shout out to all of the people, including yourself, Tony, who are administering, moderating, and taking care of all of the ACRL stuff behind the scenes. Obviously, there is a tremendous amount of work going on with Assetto Corsa not being the game known for having easy and helpful tools in place to help you track certain activities. It's all very much manual labor unless you write programs that automate things and help you out.
So we still see Rooney's coming through. Oh, he runs wide. Caught a little bit of curb there. Bounced out on the final chicane. Looked like it was a pretty good lap. But I just absolutely love that skin.
What's that, Twiz?
Just to chime in on the Nitrax comment earlier, I believe he is the third Norwegian to join ACRL, and he was a new driver for season 6.
Awesome.
There you go. Twizzer's been here much longer than I have. Much longer.
I am far from the oldest, but I was here since the dawn of season 2. No.
Ooh. Yeah, this is so we're seeing about I didn't even see Megadeth putting down a 143. I mean, still almost a full second off of Phil.
Yeah, Phil is reached. He's broken the barrier of 40 seconds. We're now at 139.499.
And I'm still keeping an eye on Pisani because, like I said, in practice we saw him put down a sub 40 lap. He was right there with him, so he's still got 15 minutes left to try to put something down. And I mean, a lot of this too, you know, just watching Pisani going around right now, there's quite a bit of traffic out there that they have to dodge for qualifying. So part of it is a little bit of luck, you know, passing those Lambos at the right places where it doesn't impact their times.
The GT qualifying is turning out to be pretty tight. 3 cars inside 3/4 of a second.
Yeah, Mitcha, who is that?
That's a very good point. Yeah, Mitcha is actually
Mitcha
one of
Bonka.
the person. We hadn't reviewed that livery either, due to some time constraints there. But
I think his is a default, if I'm not mistaken. I believe one of the obviously if the drivers don't have a custom one, they're just assigned one from.
no, they go white, don't they?
At time, or they can choose one of their custom ones.
They actually go white if you you have specified a custom skin, and if
Okay.
it's not, and you do not have it in your library, then it will just be a white one.
I think, Tony, you're right. This is a default skin. I'm looking, and on the front it says Huracan as well. So I'm thinking it's a default skin.
Most likely it is a default one. If I remember correctly, it just assigns you a default one during the entry list creation.
Yeah.
As for who Mitcha Bonka is, he is the creator, if I don't remember wrong, I might be horribly wrong, of the Red Bull Ring mod that we used back in season 4 before it became an official official track. He raced with the Red Line Racing League, which we have now sort of merged with, and he is one of the comers from over there. He has done quite well in that league. I believe he was at least top 3 and did a lot. So yeah, he should be a very quick guy. Definitely top. I'm not quite sure of the GT3 pace, but top 20, top 15, something around there.
And as
Quick
we were
for sure.
and as we were talking, Laszlo just moved up into that GT top 4 now, separated within 0.6 of each other, with Rune
Very
being
good.
in the front, Tomas in the second, and then
Yeah,
Mitcha and
Tomas is on
Laszlo.
Tomas is on a very solid hot lap here at the moment.
Well, we'll see if he can maybe break into that elusive 58, but Mitcha and Laszlo separated by 8/1000ths of each other.
Yep.
So again, that's definitely going to be some good battles there.
It's rare to see Rune that far ahead in a GT car compared to the others. Usually with these in qualifying, there's nothing more than a 10th or 1.5 that separates them. So
Especially because Rune did nothing but complain about how much he dislikes this car, and here he is,
well,
beating Tomas.
you know,
Tomas are taking a very wide line. I'm not sure if that was intentional or he just kind of overshot there. We'll have to see where he comes out. But I figure it's not going to be an improvement over his current time.
12 minutes left. There's still quite a few laps to be done here, so this could change dramatically. Sarayan getting a nice pass there where he wants. Right on
I
the
still
straight.
get freaked out. I still get freaked out by that. You're just watching. You're not expecting cars.
Oh,
He twitches
Sarayan.
the grass there, goes wide, locks up a tire. I still don't expect these cars to come flying past.
The speed difference is.
Oh, he tried to take a little bit extra road there.
Yeah.
Went wide slightly, couldn't brake, and just missed it. Unfortunate. Now I can't imagine him going straight back into a hot lap here. Obviously, he won't have had the best run onto the straight.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a throwaway, I think.
Yeah.
But Rune
And
breathing a sigh of relief.
He is running mediums, right? Yeah. Yeah. So who was it that was putting down a hot lap on the soft tires? Whoever it was that did move to mediums at this point.
It was Tomas.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he they were probably burning up on him pretty quick. Those back tires heat up fast on the Lambo. So he
This Lambo is 4-wheel drive or rear wheel? I'm actually not sure.
it is rear wheel.
Rear wheel.
I believe all the GT cars are. And I think that's the rule, but I could be wrong. Wayne would probably know more about that as he has real life experience in these series.
Actually, I haven't ran a Super Trofeo car for a while, so especially with the Hurricanes, I'm actually not too sure about it.
There he is. Our pit correspondent, Wayne. He's a Porsche guy, you know. Robo coming in. The only Lambo still running softs, and we see who's that? William Dyer.
I think he's playing around with his setup or something, but
Yeah, he's still in the pits. I can't imagine he's going to want to come out on hards unless he's
no, especially not during qualifying.
wants to do some testing maybe. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see with these guys. I don't know how the hards are on that car. I can't imagine they're great, but if it lasts a long time and maybe you get the most out of that fuel tank, try to minimize your stops.
Yeah, just do a single stop, 2 stints on hard. I don't know. I've got no idea how that would work.
I think with the current track temps, the GT cars, the smart idea is to go out on mediums even for qualifying. Just the softs, the temp range is too huge, and I think by the time you get the fronts up to temp, if ever, the rears will be just baked and they will lose a ton of grip.
Makes sense. Makes sense. There you go. So we'll see what they do. But meanwhile, Oscar Pink now below 40. He's 0.4 off of Phil.
Oh, very good. I missed that lap.
Phil coming across the line here. We'll see. Is this a better time? Doesn't look like it. So we're hoping to see. Maybe someone can challenge Phil today. Give him some trouble because he is capable of just absolutely getting way out ahead of everyone else, and no one wants to hot lap for 2 hours. And in both classes, it's about a 2-second difference from top to bottom. 3 in the 919. But again, the 919 is a little bit harder to get all the speed out of.
Yep.
A little bit more strategy involved with the hybrid energy and all that, so we'll see how it looks in the race. I don't believe they can deploy that during quali, but I might be wrong about that.
So how is the hybrid system set up? How does it work?
To be honest, I don't have a lot of experience using it. I've tinkered with it a little bit, just practicing with the car, just doing laps and checking it out. But it just it builds energy over time. And I don't think we don't have any areas that are designated on this track. Twiz, correct me if I'm wrong.
If we have a what? Sorry.
We don't have zones for the hybrid energy on this track, correct?
No, so it's not like
It's
not
not
like
like-
Formula One app.
No.
You deploy as you please over the course of a lap. Over a course of a lap, you're given X amount of energy to use. So if you use it all up, then before you cross the start-finish line, you cannot deploy anymore. And the fact that there is the energy capacity in the car, where if you deplete the whole thing, then you have to wait for it to recharge again.
Right. So we'll probably. I have to assume.
Oh, we have Oscar going wide there.
We have.
Completely lost it.
I assume we're gonna see a lot of that deployment on the back straight. That would probably make the most sense. But again, it's a little bit of strategy involved in when to use it and when to hold on to it. So
It's interesting to know that Oscar just broke late into the first turn, and it was the rear that first locked up. So that's interesting to see. Obviously, with a car without
ABS.
ABS, thank you. We're obviously, it's very important to get the brake balance right just as much.
Yeah, and that's something that the GT cars they don't have. They don't have that issue. They do have ABS on those. It's a little bit easier to drive, but it's just it's a hog. It understeers. But 6 minutes left. We still see Rune holding on to the GT pole, and we still have Phil holding on to the 919 pole. So they are getting closer. Tomas is coming down the back straight through the chicane right now. See if he can. I don't really like his exit there, so I'm not sure this is going to be good, but we'll see. Oh, and we see Laszlo with a 159.1.
Very good.
And Tomas puts down a 158.5 and once again
Impressive.
puts the dagger in the rest of the field. As we see him do so often in qualifying, towards the end, he just puts down a lap that makes you shake your head and just go, what was that? And there it is. Very impressive.
Well, we've seen in the past Thomas having trouble with traffic in these multi-class races, so qualifying is one thing. But,
Very true.
To do it clean for 2 hours is quite another story.
Very true. It'll be interesting too. He's not in the prototype this time around, so he just has to worry about holding his line, I guess, and letting the other guys handle it. But looking at the list, I don't see anyone in the Le Mans prototypes that probably would be an issue as far as passing goes, but only time will tell. Especially, again, through that Schumacher S, where if a 919 tries it, it could be bad news for both cars. We have Rune coming down the straight. See if it's enough to beat Tomas. Doesn't look like it though.
It's gonna be tough.
That is quite the lap. To beat the current pole sitter by 0.6 that's tough.
Zana made it back to top 3 in the LMP, huh? Good. Good lap there.
Who did that?
Zane?
Oh yeah, breaking sub 40. That seems to be the mark to go for. And we've talked about Pisani multiple times in multiple streams as just a guy that absolutely came out of nowhere last season.
Whoa.
I actually
He
first
has-
ran into him in a public race.
Did he
Yeah,
beat
he
you?
has been around for a while, actually. But he did not actually get super goddamn quick until last season.
Did you ask me, did he beat me, Tony?
Yeah, yes.
That's a rhetorical question, I'm hoping.
He's it really, like, he was not really on the radar. I mean, he was to some degree in Pro-Am, but you know, he wasn't making a lot of noise. And then last season, people started looking at the times of the Pro-Am and Pro GT3
Yeah.
races, and he was just as fast as some of those better guys in Pro. So, and here we are again. He's up there 0.5 off of Phil, who's alien levels of quick.
He's beating Megadeth, which is...
And Mega's a perennial pro driver. I mean,
Been here for a long time, always consistently fast. Maybe he's having traffic trouble these days.
Yeah, and that's, something they just have to
Laszlo
deal
just
with.
moving up
Ooh,
there
yeah.
into the 158.99.
Very nice lap by him.
Very good.
Still trying to chase down Tomas, but
It's gonna be painful with 4/10 of a second. We're down to our second last minute on qualifying.
and I think the surprise here, for me at least, is seeing Samuel so far off pace, because he's a Redline Racing League guy who's pretty quick normally.
But we're talking insane lap times, regardless. You know, you're talking 152.2. This is insanely fast.
And it's also important to note that this is the top split. There is another server running right now. They're going through qualifying as well, but based on pre-quali times, again, these guys are all in the top one. Gives the best strength of field. Theoretically, should be the best racing, but I know, and it's also important to note they earn more points just by making the split because of that strength of field. So it works a little bit like some other systems out there.
Tomas has given up. He's in the pit.
Yeah,
Done for the day.
I think he's feeling pretty safe there.
And Laszlo going there, missing his break point, heading onto the gravel.
We see Rune. He's coming down the final straight now. What's going to be his last flying lap, I have to assume. Going to the chicane. Oh, maybe he might have time for one more if he crosses.
Yeah, it's all about waiting with the Lambo, isn't it? Waiting.
Very
Go
much
on
so.
the throttle too quickly. Oh, he's on time. He's got one more lap in him. Just
Rune with a
just
158.7.
insane.
So now
Insane.
2/10 off Tomas, and it looks like he's going to have one more lap to try to beat him.
Yeah, pushing Laszlo back just to 13th place there.
And
or
Tomas
third on
has
the
to be
GT.
just a little nervous in the pits now, knowing that Rune has got it dialed in to some degree.
Let's see.
Oh, we see Megadeth jumping up in the second place there.
Sylvain, he was already in second place for a while, I believe.
I think it was.
Oh, Rune went wide there.
Yeah, and
past the track limits.
he knows that that's the end of that.
I would just to chime in on Mr. Sylvain. No, he was indeed fourth for a while,
Yeah.
behind Pisani.
Yep.
So yeah, it did indeed seem like he had
very
some
good.
traffic trouble. Finally got a clean up in, I guess.
So we're seeing now the just about, I think, where we're going to be landing for the race start, and it's close across the board. Nitrax leaving the server.
Disconnecting there.
There is a little bit of a wait time in between qualifying and race. I think it's a minute, and then I think it's another 5 before we start our rolling lap. And in our GTE series, we do have a rolling lap. There is an app on the car on board that the drivers use, and it gives them the instructions single file throughout the pace lap, and then going down that front straight, they're going to get the green, and we're going to be off and running. And
So
this is a 2-hour race. It is an endurance series. It's a pretty long one, especially for some of these guys who are in VR. That's a long time to have that thing strapped to your face. So we'll see. We'll be watching closely that last half hour. You start to really see some guys starting to make some mistakes, losing concentration a bit. It'll be a fun race.
Absolutely. And another quick shout out to Uncle Tony, Wayne, and Twiz, who were here commentating with myself. We'll be taking regular toilet breaks as we take this 2-hour endeavor
sure.
together.
Absolutely.
We can, the drivers cannot.
That's true. That's definitely true. And that's why I don't really do these races anymore. Small bladder, can't do it.
Gotta take a bottle.
If I was in this race, though, I would have been in the 919, and it's not the kind of car where you can grab a bottle and do your thing.
Yeah, understood. All right, so cars are on the track. We have 5 minutes until we get this race underway. And like Tony mentioned, it will be a rolling start. So it will be interesting to see how this unfolds going into turn 1.
And obviously, there's 2 white Lambos at the back of the field. That is Black Maze and myself. We're going to be resetting to pits as soon as this starts. Hopefully not hitting the exit button, as has been done in the past.
I was going to say, you've got some experience with that, yeah?
And that's that does not make the live timing app work correctly when that happens.
Well, he shouldn't screw it up this time because it's the first lap is the rolling lap, so
There shouldn't
there's
be
no
any
issues
rush.
now.
There shouldn't be any
We'll
rush.
be okay. No pressure, no
I'm
pressure.
really gonna focus hard on pressing the right button this time around. But while we ban,
So let's run through the lineup real quick. How about that?
yeah, and I'm not. It's
So
not.
we are looking at Philip in first place with a 139.49.
Are you able
Sylvain.
to switch onto him?
I don't know. No, I am not able to switch at all at this moment.
All right. Well, we have yeah. I'm just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way for right now. It's kind of not a good sign.
That's not updating the leaderboards either, though. It's not updating my. If I switch the old-fashioned way, I'm still stuck on the same person. With the. Let's give it time. I think we should be all right
Oh boy.
after we cross the finish line, probably. So very quickly, Philip in first place with 139.4. Megadeth or Sylvain just behind with 139.7. So quite a significant gap there, and I'm not sure if that's because of traffic or just their pace. We are seeing the Philip and Sylvain on softs, and we've got Oscar with a 139.8 starting off on mediums. So considering that the entire LMP grid is on softs, I do think we're looking at 2 pit stops at least. Doing a 3 stint. We see all of the GT on mediums. Tomas, Rune, and Laszlo in first, second, and third position, all with 158s. 158.5, 0.7, and 0.9, so very slight, very small gaps there. And we have William still running on hards. Now he did qualify with the slowest time, so let's see what the plan is there. So Tony, any concerns there on the app we're using? Are you?
I'm trying to click around and see why we can't change drivers on this. So I'm not entirely sure. It might be because we're in this this holding period.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be all right once we take off.
Adder did make some changes to his app here, so we'll see. Hopefully he didn't inadvertently break anything, because that's gonna make for a long 2 hours.
Yes.
I also don't have a time on my timer app. But again,
me neither. At the moment, it says only the track. I think we're gonna be fine.
But I think it's interesting that William is on hards for the race.
I mentioned that as well, but he put down the slowest time. Let's see what the plan is there. I mean,
he might be thinking, you know, okay, I'm not the fastest guy out there, clearly.
Might make it last, yeah.
But if I
when
can
you're
maybe
dead last on the grid, it's actually better to be on a alternate strategy than the rest of the group, you know, because you have nothing to lose by that point. So a huge gamble might pay off.
Yeah, he knows he's not gonna beat them in pure pace, so maybe he takes one fewer pit stop, he can jump up a few positions.
Yep.
It's worth a try. He's got, like Wayne said, he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's here, so
we are 40 seconds. Just mentioning, we have 40 seconds of the start. Tensions will be rising at this point on. Shaky legs.
All right. There they go. We're going back to pits. I didn't screw that up. And my controls are locked for 30 seconds before we can do anything.
So my app is still not working.
Yeah, that's
So
not
I've
good.
got no idea. I can't switch to anybody at this point.
Try control and 1 and 3.
I am, and it's not letting me switch.
I was
Oh,
able
it is
to
now.
I was able to
Yeah.
swap around doing that.
Yeah, I'm swapping now as well. Apologies for the flashiness on the screen there. I'm locked up to Sylvain at this point. Are you covering the GT to start, or shall I?
I can cover the GT.
I mean, feel free to head up to the LMP if you want. I'm not bothered at all.
I'll take the start of these guys. So we see Tomas in the front here.
So we are currently. How many laps of run until the start are there usually? Can you comment on that at all?
It's gonna be 1 lap. So we see in the 919's getting out ahead there.
Interesting to see Oscar on mediums, not really scrubbing the tires that aggressively compared to Philip.
Very interesting, yeah. The only 919 on mediums. And we're starting to see them now. They're going to bunch up. And I'm going to be watching behind.
Both Matteo and Luca would want to get by Oscar in a hurry to catch Sylvain.
And I think it's safe to say that our app is broken.
Is it?
Oh no, we had contact in the back on the pace lap.
Oh no.
With the Lambos. Ay, ay, ay. Come on, guys.
All right, through the final chicane here. Let's see if we can get this clean.
These guys are catching up now to the back of the pack. I hope there's no damage to any of them. Nerves may be running a little high. Everyone getting back in order.
Yeah, like I mentioned, you got to take care of the Lambo being, like you said, a hog with the understeer.
Rune getting a little aggressive over the chicane there. Catching back up to Tomas.
And we are on our way.
Oh, Rune with a bad start.
Good start from Philip. Sylvain right behind him, some locking up wheels there going into turn 1. But we are relatively clean, some running wide, but we're okay. We do have an issue with the app though.
Yeah,
that is not working.
It's not working correct. And I'm looking at some other ones that I have, and they are also, I don't think, working correct.
It must be to do with the
I think it has to do with the Assetto app, yeah. So we'll see if it updates as the race goes on with standings. Hopefully it does.
We can always run F9, get the per lap at least standings. So inverse position Sylvain with a little bit of room behind him, which is Philip. I'm gonna be disabling the apps at this point.
And we see in the Lambos, we have Tomas leading the pack. We have Mitcha Banca jumped up in the second, Laszlo in the third, and Rune fell back to fourth. He had a really bad start. It looked like he came a little hot out of the final corner, and actually was almost starting in first ahead of Tomas, and he kind of backed off. And then as soon as he backed off to kind of do it correctly, the lights went green, and he just had an abysmal start. So he's going to have some catching up to do now.
Gotcha.
And we see the GT is already splitting into 2 packs.
Yeah.
With the front 4 being 1 pack.
It's almost 3 with how far Tomas is getting ahead at this point. hopefully Mitcha can track him down.
So Van was 8 tenths faster than Philippe on that first time lap.
Yeah, he's got an insane lap time. He seems to be crawling away a little bit there.
And yeah, I can confirm our app is not updating at all.
Yeah, I need to apologize for the viewers. The in-game app, or the app we're using to track the times is not working. So on my stream, at least, I'm looking at the original in-game Assetto Corsa League tower page on the left there, which
Yeah.
only updates once per lap, I believe.
Yeah, the start finish. I also have a yellow flag pinned permanently to the top of my screen.
Sylvain running a little bit wide there.
And we're starting to really see, yeah, the gap between in the GTs is starting to really widen now. We're seeing that front four really getting away from the back three. Let's see who we got back there. Winga. Trebek.
Luca off the track. Yeah, Luca looks like he had an accident out of the Schumacher S.
And that's a 919.
Oh my bad, it's the set of corners after that.
So Philip is staying with Sylvain at this point. He's very close behind. Both taking care of the track limits very carefully.
We see Rune was able to get past Laszlo. I'm not entirely sure when that happened. I would assume it was on the back straight. We're seeing the cars behind them now. Some pretty close racing back here.
Yeah, we've got a nice little pack there between looking at Laszlo, Rune, and Mitcha.
And behind them we see Trebek and Winga. Winga was getting very close. I thought maybe he was going to be able to put a move on. Oh, in this car, I'll tell you, the Lambo does not like the curbs. We just saw Winga take a little bit, and it looked like the back end was trying to go on him. Really unsettled it.
Mitcha running wide there. Allowed Rune to get a little bit closer even. He's putting the pressure on, definitely.
Oh, Phil. Oh, it's too wide through turn one between Phil and Megadeth. Phil makes it sticky. Nice outside move. Takes the outside line and gets by. Mega kicking himself, I'm sure. Wondering how that could have possibly happened.
If you change your curves deployment and harvest modes within the corner, it technically could do it. If you switch it to conservative, it shortens the braking distance considerably, and then right when you get on the power, you go on to a hot lap or something, you know, as aggressive, then you can just shoot out of the corner.
Very interesting, and that really, you know, again, that kind of shows the difficulty curve of making 919 a quick car, where it's not as simple as you just get in and drive it. There's a lot of other things you need to manage. Oh, Mega.
He goes wide. Philip going wide there.
I'm not sure if Mega made contact or not. He locked his brakes up.
I did not see any contact there. I was looking on board with Sylvain at that point. There was no contact. It widened the gap tremendously there as they move into the chicane.
Yeah, Mega kind of really had to let off to make sure. I think he didn't hit him there.
No, yeah. We have to remember this is a 2-hour race. Obviously, you're not going to run. You're going to win the race in the first 3 laps. You got to give each other space.
And now we see, and now we have Pisani really sneaking behind him here.
that's a very good call.
Looks like Phil just went a bit too deep in the braking and lost the rear and had to correct.
So again, for anybody who's currently or only just tuned in, we have some issues with the on-screen apps. We were unable to show proper standings during the race. We're using the in-game app, which is updated once per lap, just so you are aware there are some delays in the standings as you're watching. We're missing some vital information, which is going to make it slightly harder to...
harder for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're starting to see the 919s now towards the front, really opening up. And it really hasn't been due to, I don't think, raw pace. I think it, from what I can tell, it seems like it's mostly who's mitigating their mistakes right now. And there hasn't been anything serious, but it's a lot of locked up tires, you know, missed braking points, things like that. Oh, we see someone off track there.
That's the Rubicon's going off track.
Yeah. So we're already seeing about, what, 3.5 laps in. Starting to see some passes through traffic already. On board with Sarayan here. He's got 2 919s right behind him. Nitrax and Samwell. Doing a good job really getting away from them, though.
Samuel is chasing like mad. Takes the outside
Ooh,
there.
Too wide.
They go together.
No contact. He holds on. Nitrax, can he go underneath now? Looks like he might.
He'll pull back on the inside there.
Ooh. Not enough. Just barely not enough.
Very clean though. Oh, he's gone past. Has he given the position back there, or he seemed to go by really fast?
Nitrax holding the inside again. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He has to hold back.
Locked him up a little bit to not hit him. And here we go. They're trying to pass the Rucons. Do a nice job getting on the outside of him. He's holding that inside. Well done.
Very clean.
And amongst all this, Matteo is
We see Rune. He's up into second now. Trying to track down Tomas, but that's going to be a tall order. As we see Phil now coming through the GT field. Oh, that's very close. That is very close, and there he goes. And you really got to see there.
second in LMP heating up. Matteo looks like just past Sylvain.
Yeah, Pisani getting
Oh,
by.
he hits him. He hits him slightly there on the rear.
Boy, just when I thought that was opening up a little bit. Oh, and in fourth place, there's some contact. Who was that? Oscar
Okay, we
Pink.
have some unfortunate traffic there with the Lamborghini in the way. Sylvain and Matteo.
Yeah, trying to
Pisani
get
being held up
around.
there.
Uh-oh. That could be ugly. Here we go through the Schumacher S. We see Oscar Pink behind. It could be ugly for Rune.
Yes, and it
Ooh.
is. It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that is painful.
That's a really, really difficult portion of the track to have these 919s trying to pass you. You really need to take a defensive line.
Sylvain still hanging on to Pisani there.
Yep. That's going to be... And then I'll tell you, Oscar Pink is quickly catching up behind them. Meanwhile, Phil out in front, they're about 3.5, 4 seconds off of him. Yeah. And again, that's Phil's a guy out in front there with the 919s. If you let him get away from you, you're not going to catch up. We'll go on board with Mega here. Sylvain.
Is there any way with the default apps to show who you're on board with?
If you press F5 while you're looking at a car, you'll get the name thing at the top.
Yeah,
I'm actually using another.
Looking for something to stay.
I have another app that was a broadcasting one, and those nameplates are working correctly. So if you have another one, you might want to try it and see if the nameplate works.
No, it's not working.
And Tomas getting past here, holding up the 919. Rune holding up another Schumacher S. Nitrax behind him. He let 2 by. Nitrax getting the worst out of that. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact to the back corner there. But Rune is having terrible luck with when these 919s are catching up to him. He had 3 of them behind him going into the Schumacher S. And he's just bleeding time, I think, off of Tomas at this point. He's about 5 seconds off of him. But if there's one thing we've seen between these two with Rune and Tomas is Tomas has the raw pace, but Rune's been known to get a little tricky with his pit stops. So we'll see if he has some kind of greater plan in place that maybe he can make up that time.
So, speaking of pit stops, when do you think we'll be seeing the first pit stops? Considering this is a 2-hour race, we're now about a 15-minute in.
I have to assume that most of these guys in the GTs are going to be trying to get as close to that 1 hour mark as they can on those mediums.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to be able to make them last that whole time. I know the fuel tank will. It'll get them there, but it's a matter of will the tires hold up that long.
Do we still have William in the race?
That's a really good question.
Yep, William is running in front of Rokon.
Interesting to keep an eye on his pace as well.
Yeah, where he's at and when he pits. Rukon had a pretty tough start. See a little bit of damage to the front of his car and the side and the back. Pretty much everything's damaged at this point. So I'm not sure if that was from the pace lap when we saw some guys getting mixed up back there or what happened, but definitely not the start he wants in a 2-hour race. And checking out the race leader, Phil, way out ahead.
I'm on board with Sylvain at the moment, obviously running in 3rd position.
Trying to track down Pisani. And behind Sylvain, I believe we have, Oscar Pink. Doing everything he can to catch up.
So we have Pisani running the track limit slightly there.
Yeah,
how many warnings exactly are we looking at with the track limit system? How does that work?
To be honest, it's a weighted system. So we take the total number of laps over how many cuts there are on the track. And there's some kind of formula that happens, and that's where they get the number from. I would expect it'll probably be maybe between you get 10 and 15 before you're penalized over a 2-hour race. That seems to be about the sweet spot.
Yeah, Sylvain pushing quite hard there. He runs quite wide in the turns.
Yeah, he's
slightly
catching
going
up
on the grass. But it is working, yes. And I don't know if that's just the pressure on Pisani or if he is really running faster lap times there.
And I'm on board with Pisani, and you can see Phil way out in front there, already through the chicane.
Yes.
And these guys are going to need, I think, a small... Oh,
Oh.
Pisani. Oh, and Mega got loose, too. They both did.
It's interesting to see
Oh,
because you
man.
can imagine that it turns you off your pace and you make a mistake just by watching someone else make a mistake.
Yeah, I think Mega might have been following Pisani's line through there and just it looks like they both did the exact same thing. They just lost the car under braking a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll check back in now. Well, that actually should have given Oscar a bit of a chance to catch up, and he made some time up there. He's still about 3 seconds off of
They're all
Sylvain.
running 141.3s. Actually, we do have Pisani running a 141.2. Yeah.
And we see this, there's a train of 919s with Nitrax, Samwell, and Sarayan back there. They're all running pretty close to each other.
I'm checking in with the GT, with the Lambos. So obviously we have Tomas in first position doing 159.4s, and we have Rune Janssen behind also doing 159.4s, and I would say he's about 10 seconds behind.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a very tough gap to overcome. 10 seconds early on, but
it says here 4 seconds. I don't know how accurate this leaderboard thing is that I'm using, but it seems to be more than 4 seconds. No, it is 4 seconds.
4 second gap, that's doable. You know, that's over the course of a 2-hour race too. It's really who's mitigating mistakes. You know, if you run wide once and your opponent doesn't, that might be all you need. It's it really is a test of sheer willpower and focus over the course of this race. And I mean, obviously, you know, last season we saw Tomas and Rune on the final race was at Nordschleife, and they were both in the prototype series, and the championship was on the line, and it was a lot of back and forth, and that's a very difficult track to stay focused on for 2 hours. And we ended up seeing Tomas come away with a win.
Yeah.
So those two are no strangers to fighting each other. Oh, and we see Samwell getting side by side with Sarayan into the chicane. Sarayan holding the inside. Looks like he's gonna hang on. Oh, Samwell had to cut back through. A little bit of a cut there. Probably lost some time, a little bit of contact, and he ends up losing a spot to Nitrax. And now Nitrax is going to see if he can get by Sarayan. Ooh, it looked like he did. Handedly, he had a very nice exit. He might have actually used his energy there, because he absolutely blew by. Oh, and some slight contact. This is an entertaining battle to watch right now between these three 919s. Yeah, Nitrax doing a good job there. I have to assume with how fast he passed Sarayan, he had to have deployed his energy there on that front straight and got past him, and now he's out in front.
And again, we are looking at this energy being depleted through. You use it throughout a lap, and then it recharges. Is that correct?
No, it recharges every time you get on the brakes.
Okay.
The rate of recharge depends on the program that you're in. The deployment amount is set per lap.
Awesome.
So theoretically, then, Wayne, they could hold off on using it for a couple laps and have more stored.
Sarayan on the outside there. Samuel keeping it on the inside.
Very close. Sarayan wisely backs off. Didn't want to get on the inside there. Wasn't enough overlap. Live to fight another day. Very entertaining racing here, though, with these guys.
I would love to see what their deployment strategies are.
Oh no, Samuel!
Side by side like that.
And did Sarayan get into the back of him there? Try to dive inside? I missed it.
I don't think so. I think Samuel may have just lost the rear on the braking there.
Well, that gives Sarayan...
And if I'm not mistaken, the same happened during qualifying.
I think you're correct. Meanwhile, at the front, Phil Simard still way out there. Running clean, consistent laps. Although, it looks like his last lap was a 142.1, and Sylvain ran a 141.6.
On the GTs, we still have a nice battle going on with Trabusht and the McKay.
There's some very close battles throughout the track right now. It's and Oscar did a nice job catching up to Pisani. I'm not sure exactly when Megadeth got past him. but he did it pretty handily. He's got about a 1.5 gap now.
And depending on how the tire wear versus the fuel, Oscar might come out ahead when everything is said and done after the first pit stop.
Oh, that's true. Oscar's running
Because
mediums.
remember, he is on mediums.
He's
that's
the
right.
only one on mediums. So he's currently in 4th position, the only 919 on mediums, so... Oh, gets beside him. Very nice move. Very nice move by Oscar. Taking Pisani in the braking zone of turn 1. And now he's tracking down Megadeth here. Mega getting caught behind traffic. This is exactly what Oscar needs. Oh, he could make it. He could make it too.
Oh, he's going on the outside.
Oh,
There.
man.
Making room.
That really benefited Oscar.
So almost 30 minutes in, I think we're starting to see the effects of the tire wear of the softs coming into play, because Pastani looks to be a bit
Really
ragged.
Yeah,
right
he's struggling. You can see it definitely through the chicane. He was getting a little wobbly. Especially under power. It looked like the car wanted to go on him. But if that's the case, I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be running on softs if he's having trouble already, which kind of brings the pit strategy into question. If they're going to try to maybe throw on mediums for that middle stint, and then they'd have to take a 3rd pit stop and throw softs on. In which case, I would have to say Oscar, I think, is running the right strategy. I have
clean here with Tomas being overtaken by the 3 LMBs.
that was Tomas that they just passed.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good spot for them to catch up to him there. Oh, and Mega loses it.
Oh no.
Loses 2 spots. He drops back. Doesn't lose a ton of time. He's still very much behind Pisani, but Oscar jumping up into 2nd place now. Oh, and Pisani going really wide.
God.
And really, the person that's benefiting most from this is Phil, who is just driving completely on his own, making 0 mistakes.
Where's Phil?
He's in 1st place, 919. He's going. I mean, he's
Oh, there he is.
easily.
10 seconds up the road.
Yeah, he's putting this one borderline out of reach early.
You called it though, didn't you?
Well, I know what kind of times Phil puts down, and if you're not with him the whole race and he gets out ahead, even a little bit of a gap where you're not challenging him and forcing him into changing his line around, if he's left to just hot lap on his own, he's gonna win. I mean, he's just that fast, and we're seeing that now. But the wild card here, of course, is Oscar running a totally different strategy than everyone else.
And keeping up with the lap
In,
times
se-
as
in
well.
2nd
Obviously,
place, yeah.
It
He
will
might
be
be
interesting
able.
to see.
He might be able to do it if he can't stretch those softs out, as long as Oscar's going to do the mediums, which I have to assume he's not going to be able to. He's got to be going for a 3-pit strategy, or a 2-pit strategy, and Oscar with a 1. If he can make it if he can make these tires last up to for the next 30 minutes, I think he has a really good chance at making a run at this if he can keep running unimposed like he is now. Just kind of keep that gap where it's at. But Phil definitely does run the risk of really opening that up. And we see Rune still about 4.5 seconds off of Tomas. Maybe a little bit more now. You can still see him, so that's good, but he's definitely becoming a blot in the distance.
I have to say, if I was either Sylvain or Matteo right now, I would seriously look into diving into the pits and putting a set of mediums on.
What is Sylvain doing? He's driving completely off the track there.
Maybe
Did he miss
lost
a
it?
braking point?
I
I don't know.
must have.
It seemed like he just drove off the track.
And Pisani getting back out in front. Maybe a lapse in judgment, but that's really letting Oscar get away here.
Oh yeah, Sylvain locking up his braking there as well. That's painful. That will put you out of your concentration.
Definitely a long race, so we'll see We'll have to keep an eye on those two. I have a feeling they're going to be battling back and forth. And it's kind of a war of attrition at this point with who can make fewer mistakes, but we see Rune. A lot of 919s passing him now. Oh, he's going to hold up Saran. He sneaks by. Very nice. Good patience by him. Didn't lose much time on Nitrax in front of him.
So we have our first pit stops going on here, guys. We have Sylvain and Pisani both heading in at the same time.
Interesting. I have to assume they're going to go mediums.
Yeah. If you keep an eye on that, I'll make sure I get a nice little camera going here.
So now, who's going to get out first? Because they are very close to one another.
Yeah. And we got to remember these are teammates, right? It's really nice to see their liveries lined up, red and the green.
You know, that's a good point. These are teammates. I'm surprised that they were battling as hard as they were.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Pisani getting out ahead, so about...
There is an overtake in the pits there. Or no, there isn't actually.
Yeah, Pisani was still... Yeah, I'm a little... I kind of did forget that these two were teammates. I'm surprised to see them battling like they were instead of just focusing on catching up with Oscar.
They I don't know. I don't know if I agree. They were all right there.
Ooh, who is that?
That
Tomas. Had to
Tomas,
really get out of the way there.
Was that because he was making room?
I have to assume he was, yeah.
So Rune is doing 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 1/100 of a second, 1/10 of a second, and we have Tomas doing 1:59.8. So there is a definite difference there. Still,
little bit of a gap, yeah. But Rune's still keeping it somewhat respectable. I mean, I think Tomas is pulling away a little bit at this point.
So no change in strategy among the intra-team battle with Pisani and Sylvain.
Yeah, they're both still on softs,
which is surprising. Wonder who's the team boss in that team, because I would definitely put one on soft strategy and put the other one on mediums.
They could have done that. What I have to assume now they're gonna take their final pit around the 1 hour mark, probably a little under, maybe slap mediums on and try to just cruise for that final hour. Because I can't see them pitting every 30 minutes for tires. To me, that just doesn't make sense.
We have a crash with Pisani. I missed it. I did not see it.
Oh no.
He lost it in the chicane, I think. And he is just moving on to the straight now. Let's see how much time he lost there with his lap time. Lap time being... Oh, he lost 4 seconds on that.
So I would assume that yeah, Mega got by him by a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Unfortunately, I just caught on to him while he was on the grass. This is why we need a replay system.
Live replays. Kunos, please.
Amongst so many other things. So let's have a look at the Lambos.
We still see Rune about 4.5, 5 seconds off of Tomas.
Laszlo and Rune Janssen are doing identical lap times there. Rune being 1/1000th of a second faster on the last lap. Very close racing, these guys. I can't tell you what the gap is, I think. Let me see if I can find that. Janssen. So the gap is 4.9 seconds.
That's about where I think Rune has to keep it for now. And just hope that maybe you can get Tomas in the pits. Or maybe he, something happens with the traffic. I mean, there's so many variables that can happen in these multi-class races.
So I think the MK was in front this lap, but he was overtaken by Mitja. I missed that as well, unfortunately. Their lap times are... Yeah, it looks like MK made a mistake. He's 1.5 seconds off his pace. So that's the battle for 14th position.
And I'm kind of surprised to see Mitja Abanka so far down, because he was way up there with those guys.
He's got some damage to the front wing, it looks like. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it.
He's behind Trebuk. Tribute. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, he definitely. There was definitely some kind of incident he was involved in where he lost quite a bit of time. We see Oscar Pink going on the
Oscar.
inside. Yep.
Yeah, that's relatively nice. He went wide there,
Yep.
made some room, so it was
And
easy overtaking.
God, those cars do just absolutely fly by.
Again, for anyone who's tuning in, we're looking at 20 seconds between the Lambo and the Porsche per lap.
See Serain and Nitrax still very close here. Let's hop on board with Serain. Let's see if he can make something happen. Oh.
Oh boy, Nitrax going wide.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was going to be a chance there for him, but
No, he has to hold in and you
Yeah.
lose your advantage. And again, with no ABS, it's always a surprise how these guys end up going into these really slow corners. And I think it's probably because they hit the curb that you see them making the mistakes there.
and what's interesting is Megadeth. Oh, he's behind. He's behind him. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so Megadeth is actually behind Serain, and this is for position because of their pit stop.
Yeah.
So he's trying his best to try to make up some of that time now, and he's got fresher tires than the rest of them because of the unreasonably early pit stop, it seems like, considering everyone else is staying out there on softs. So I'm not really sure what their strategy is.
Oh, wow.
Side by side. Nice move there. Can he make something happen with Serain now? Oh, they both lock up a little bit.
Yeah. He ran wide probably to
Yep.
make sure he didn't hit.
Yeah, I think once you lock your brakes up, sometimes it's best to just kind of duck outside just in case you don't know how far exactly you're going to slide. But... And maybe that had something to do with the pit stop too, because we did see Mega and Pisani, they both had locking up their tires. What seemed like a lot, maybe that wore them down a little bit faster. They can get bald spots.
You think Sylvain's got an opportunity here? I think he
Ooh,
might have.
I think he just deployed.
Yeah, he's on the inside. Let's see who breaks. Oh yeah. Oh, we've got him locking up.
He sneaks by though. I think Serain
nice.
kind of just let him by there.
Yeah, Serain was slightly locking up there.
Mega definitely deployed his energy there. Oh,
Oh,
a little
he's
bump,
wide.
a little bump from Serain, I think.
Yeah, was there contact
Ever so,
there?
ever so
Oh my
slightly.
God. 3 wide there.
Here we go.
Nitrax there.
Oh, Mega
Staying on the
going
inside.
really wide.
Yeah.
But this is this entire train we see with these 5 cars. These are all for position.
It is great to see how they stick together so well.
Yep, very close here. Very close. We see Pisani, I think he's getting, maybe trying to put a move on Oscar Pink, trying to get that position back. And he is on the fresh tires.
Yeah, so Sam is running mediums, right?
Oh, there it
Or
is,
he-
Pisani.
No, he's running softs as well, yeah. It was running mediums again, it was...
Oscar.
Oscar Pink is
Awesome.
the only guy running mediums.
And we just saw, again, what I assume was Pisani deploying his hybrid energy there, because he absolutely flew past him. Absolute slingshot.
Pink and Pisani are not for position, however.
They're not.
No, running third is Roberte Edouard.
What is
And
that
we see
all about?
Nitrax going in the pits here.
Yeah, let's see how he does.
His teammate Only Vision coming through the chicane. We'll see if they follow the same strat here. Vision opting to stay out. Meanwhile, Phil, way out in front. Coming up to the final chicane. I mean, he's coming close to lapping some of the 919s at this point. Yeah, no one's able to challenge him. He's just too consistent and too quick.
Oscar Pink brought that gap down to a 7.8 from a 8.3 last time round.
What looked like a slow pit stop for Nitrex there. He just left the pits, and he is still on softs.
Yep. Oscar about 8 seconds off of Phil. It'll be interesting to see. Again, with Oscar's pink strategy, or his pit strategy right now is really could be the great equalizer in this 919 class. We'll have to keep an eye out for when Phil's gonna pit. Because we have to assume now they're coming up on 45 minutes on soft tires that it has to be coming soon.
That is about the mark, yeah.
And then for Oscar, I mean, there's no way that he can pit before Phil on softs if he's running a medium compound. So he's just got to make it last longer if he wants a shot at this. And hope that Phil has to pit soon. And maybe he's going to switch to mediums? I don't know.
Phil is definitely just cruising at the moment. And he's not really using the whole track, just managing the tires and the gap.
I think he might be able to stretch it a full hour on those softs. At this rate, I mean, another 15 minutes.
What times is he putting down at this point?
Phil's last lap was a 1:41.5. So
it's
definitely
insane. I'm surprised to see that he can get those times down on the softs.
And those are definitely, I think, slow times for him. He's but like Wayne said, I suspect that he knows he's got a big gap, and he knows that Oscar's running mediums. So he's trying to fight, I think, that pit strategy right now by just not pushing the car as hard as he needs to because of the gap, and just really trying to conserve those tires. I would think until he hits that hour mark. It's about another 12 or 13 laps. Not even. Nah, it'd probably be less. Almost 2 minutes a lap. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out with these guys.
Oh no, what's going on there? Samuel had a funny drive through turn 1, hit the apex on the inside and slowed down significantly.
And Samuel up 3 positions. He was dead last, I think, in qualifying, and Phil is going into the pits. So here we go. Now it's up to Oscar. How long can he stretch that? So Phil got about 45 minutes out of those soft tires, and he was really being conservative. That puts Oscar Pink out in the lead now. He's got Nitrax behind him, but that's not for position.
I think he's going to exit the pits with plenty of time left.
He's still in there, so definitely refueling, definitely taking tires. The question is, are they going to be mediums? And he's going to try to make it go 1. And he's out.
It can't be anything.
Soft.
Soft. Wow.
So
he's got a great race pace going on those tires. That's just the way it is.
So what that means is he's going to have to take another pit stop.
Yes.
There's no way he's going to stretch softs for the rest of the race. So now, the question becomes, what can Oscar do? He might, and we have Sarayan also coming into the pits now. We're starting to see a lot of these guys on softs coming through. Meanwhile, we haven't seen any GTs in the pits yet.
I don't understand it though. If he's doing 3 stints on softs, why stay out for 45 minutes? That means you're losing time, right? I mean,
well, you have to assume then he's going to probably pit again with 30 minutes left in the race. And keep in mind, we don't know. Oh, Oscar sliding a little bit there. We don't know what kind of fuel tanks these things have. I'm not entirely sure how long they can go on those. But with
we have
Oscar's
only vision in the pits
out
at the moment. Yeah, only vision in the pits.
Yeah, if Oscar can make these this run last about another 13 minutes exactly, he has, in my opinion, a real chance at winning this race. We'll have to see how much Phil can catch up now.
Yep.
He's 40 seconds behind Oscar.
So talking about Lambos again, GT, the MK is definitely not able to stick up the Mitja Bonka at this point. Mitja doing 2 minutes for a lap, where the MK is doing 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Behind that, we do have Treb Booked, who's doing 2 minutes as well, so he will be catching up to MK if he's not hurrying up. The gap there is, let's see if we can find out what the gap is. It says 7.4 seconds. That was on the straight with the default app. The gap is significantly smaller now. I think we're talking 3, maybe 4 seconds. Yeah, that's about 4 seconds.
And Oscar not going into the pits yet. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him.
Yep.
To really see when he's going to be doing this, because the implications really are who's going to have a real chance at this. I mean, 40 seconds is a big gap. Whenever he pits, you have to assume that Phil is going to take that lead back. But
at this, I don't know. Yeah, but if he only does 1 pit stop, then
exactly. But I'm also seeing Oscar now. He's drifting around the track. Definitely seeing some wear on those tires.
He needs to stay out for 10 minutes. That's basically what
we're saying. Yeah, if he wants a chance at this, he has to make it a 1 pit race, because Phil is going to be pitting again. Coming up
so
on
MK is putting down 2 minutes per lap again. He must have made a mistake in the last lap, which meant he lost some time over Mitja. So no real fights at this point for the GT class. Everyone is pretty spaced out, doing around 2 minutes per lap.
And they're also they're gonna have to be getting pretty close to pitting here now. I would assume inside the 1 hour mark is when we're gonna start seeing those guys heading in.
I suppose everyone's just making it a 50-50 split, right? I mean,
that would probably make the most sense at this point.
We still have William driving? No, William is no longer driving.
Yes, he is.
Tires. Is he? Where is he?
He is in 16th, I believe. And we see, oh no, yes. Oscar's going into the pits. With an hour, 10 minutes.
Okay, so that's going to be interesting.
Will he be able to make that last?
Let's see where he comes out.
Yeah, we have to see where Phil is now. Phil coming through the chicane. He's definitely going to take first back. Phil also, I'm seeing some damage on the side of his car. I'm not entirely sure.
Pink obviously will be taking some extra fuel if this is his only stop. I don't know. Do you think he's going to run mediums?
Phil coming down the stretch. I think he has to.
Alright, so he is now in second place, right?
Yep, Phil into turn 1 right now.
And there's the rest coming. There we have Nitrax.
I don't believe that's for position. Nitrax is sitting in 8th on my screen.
Oh, he goes wide as well. How is Nitrax in 8th? Oh, he runs immediately wide. Has to give up there. To who do you have in front there? Sylvain. So he's back in 3rd position now.
And Oscar back on mediums.
And it was actually only vision. My apologies. It wasn't Nitrax. It was only vision.
So, can Oscar get that extra 10 minutes out of these tires and fuel?
I don't see how this is going to work for him, but let's see. I mean, if he was starting, like you said, he was drifting like mad.
I think they were really starting to get going, but...
Then again, he might have pushed it harder
the
first stint.
It could have just been a... I mean, it's a very awkward place to pit in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Because if you want to do a 50-50, now you're like a 55-45. Which... I mean, we saw that those tires were definitely starting to go, but maybe he just opted, you know, I'll deal with that in an hour. Very interesting to see how this is going to shake up. But they definitely, they gained a little bit on Phil.
In the meanwhile, we see Trebucht coming back up on the MK. I think the difference there between them now is... I can't work these times anymore with the default apps. I've got no idea.
Checking in with Rune. That gap really hasn't changed much with Tomas.
No, we're still, what, 8 seconds?
I mean, yeah, Rune was 2/10 faster on the last lap. It's just been going back and forth so much. I'm really curious to see when William is going to pit on those hard tires. How long can he make those things go? Because it seems like everyone else now is going to be running a 1-pit strat as well.
He'll just have to stay out.
Unless he just...
But even it's not gonna work for him. I mean, his lap times are down way.
Maybe I can't see him stretching those
No.
into soft tire territory. If those were getting shredded in if they were getting shredded in quali, I just don't see how that's gonna work. But stranger things have happened. We see Tomas, he's coming up and lapping him now. And he's got Phil coming on the inside of him through the chicane. Nice and tidy, no contact.
Do you still have a working app that shows you the person you're racing with and who is ahead and who is behind?
I have one that shows the person I'm currently watching. In front and behind is, I suspect, slightly wrong.
Alright.
But the gap is generally correct, I believe. Roughly.
You want to take a look at Trebucht, who is crawling ever so much closer to the MK. 17th position, going for... I mean, I actually forget what I'm saying about positions because the in-game app is giving me complete bollocks.
Yeah, and this one's not reading the gap correctly. Nor is it reading the person in front and behind correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this new timing system that Assetto Corsa implemented really took a toll on these broadcasting apps.
Yeah, we'll be alright for the next one. Adder being as brilliant as he is. So interesting to see the MK running slightly wide there, allowing Trebucht to come a little bit closer. The nice thing here is these guys are teammates, and it's so cool to see when teammates are driving together, clean lines.
Yeah, they and it doesn't pay off for them to really battle each other. You really just want to focus on trying to catch up with that guy in front of you. You know, you can trade draft back and forth. Try to do things like that to close the gap.
Well, let's have a look. I don't know if I can find out very easily what the gap is.
Between Trebucht and MK, it's got to be...
No, the group in front, the guy in front is about 9 or 10 seconds in front.
They're chasing
Mitcha.
down Mitcha. Yeah.
I counted that by hand then.
It's about that. It's a pretty good gap. Mitch's pace has been pretty decent.
Yeah.
He's definitely running a little bit quicker. Meanwhile, Rune is still trying to track down Tomas.
Tomas running slightly. Actually, that's William in front of him.
Yeah, they're starting to lap some of the guys in their same class, but we have to see, if not on this lap, I have to assume on the next, we're gonna see Tomas hitting the pit. Maybe Rune following his lead in.
So in what position do you have Rune at this point?
Rune is in 11th overall,
Yeah, okay, I see the same.
but he is second in GT.
Yep. Tomas taking a lot of curb through the chicane.
Yeah, I have to be careful there.
He's staying out. Let's see what we have
Rune.
with
Rune
Rune.
also staying out.
Yeah.
I have to suspect that it's going to be the status quo with those two. Rune just going to be doing whatever he sees Tomas doing at this point. But we'll see. Rune is, he is clever with his pit stops. And checking in with the 919s, we see Oscar Pink right on Sylvain.
Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. So both of these guys are on.
Oscar's on
Same
mediums. Oscar's on mediums and Sylvain's on softs. Now, we saw
Gotcha.
Mega and his teammate Pisani. They took new tires about 30 minutes into the race. So if they're following that same strategy, we should maybe see them going into the pits here shortly to try to get another set. It was kind of an awkward. Oh, Mega losing the car there a little bit. It was an awkward time to pit. And you see.
Oh, Mega going wide there.
Sliding definitely. I'm not sure when we're gonna see him pit. I'm really not. They have to run a two-pit strategy, which is par for the course with the rest of these guys. Maybe they're trying to extend these soft tires into mediums, but it's also a little awkward in AC because you can't change tire pressure. So if you change to a different compound, things get a little dicey because it's
That's a funny point, actually. Not something I had thought about. Obviously, your setup has a tire pressure set. Oh,
Oscar dodging that. Yeah.
Obviously, you have a PSI set in your setup, and when you change tires, you will still be running with the same tire pressure.
Because you can't change setups on the fly.
Yeah.
You know, splues.
Oh.
But is it possible to do? It is.
So Sylvain going wide there again.
It's definitely possible. You're just not going to get peak performance. But if that's the case, and they're not switching to mediums, I'm not entirely sure why they decided to pit as early as they did, especially seeing when the rest of the field taking their pit stop about 15 minutes later. Oscar almost an hour later, or a half hour later. So
Wingu being overtaken there very nicely for Oscar to follow. Very nice.
And there goes Mega in
Yep.
the pits.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. Maybe he's gonna come out on mediums. We also see who else was that coming out of the pits right there? There was another 919. Samwell. And as far as I know, that was Samwell's first pit stop.
Yes, it was.
So he stretched his softs into an hour.
I don't know what his lap times were.
Well, he's currently in 5th, just by that alone. Which is, it might have worked for him. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Let's see where Mega comes out and what kind of shoes he has on. Because this should dictate
All right, Sylvain Mega's coming out
on softs,
on softs, and he did not lose any positions.
which is incredible. But I think it's where's Pisani?
Oh, he run. It's funny seeing people run wide straight away after the pits. It takes a little bit of getting used to your tires.
Pisani is way back off his teammate.
So this is Sarayan is running in 5th position, right? This is
Correct.
3rd position or 4th for 4th.
Pisani is in 4th. Sarayan's in 5th. Now Pisani,
Yeah.
I think, was a full lap down on Sylvain. He had to be, because he's not even. He's coming down the back straight right now. So I'm curious to see if he's going to follow his teammate's strategy here and he's going to pit. I mean, he really, in my opinion, he can't afford to. It looks like he's going to. He is.
What are you talking about now?
Pisani going into the pits, he's currently in 4th. I mean, he's going to lose tons of positions on that. He's going to stay a lap down.
So talk me through it here. Pisani has not yet pitted, right?
He has. Him and his teammate Mega.
Oh, yeah.
They did
Okay.
at 30 minutes. Now, Pisani had some issues on the track. I'm not entirely sure how he came a full lap down, but he did. But, I mean, for them to only run these softs for 30-minute stints,
I
That
don't
means-
know.
that means they're
Maybe
gonna
he's
have
going
to-
on to mediums now, or
well, Mega didn't. I mean, he's still in 3rd, I guess, just because of pace alone. No, he's in 4th. No, he's in 3rd now. He just passed Pisani, who's in the pit.
he just passed him.
But man, it's to go with a 3-pit strat, and that's
So
what
he
it's
has-
gonna have to be.
He has gone to softs still.
Right.
So
So,
what does that-
they're
what
gonna
does that
have
mean?
they'll have to pit again in 30 minutes, and that'll be their 3rd pit stop in a 2-hour race, while the rest of the field is gonna be going 2, and in Oscar Pink's case, maybe 1. He might be done pitting. So I mean, that's kind of making it really hard to remain competitive now. I mean, they're kind of doing it on pace alone. I'm a little surprised to see Mega up in 3rd or in 4th place. No, he's in 3rd now. Pisani should be.
He is 4th. He's 3rd, yeah.
Pisani's in 3rd, and Sarayan can't be too far behind. Yeah, Sarayan's in 5th. It's and Sarayan's actually pretty far back.
Yep.
Maybe they're just opting to just keep fresh tires on and just take the 3rd and 4th position. I mean, there's no way they're gonna catch up to Oscar.
Yeah, it
There's
could
no
very
way.
well be, but how would they figure that from their point of view, though?
They could be checking the live timing. I mean, they kind of, you have some idea what the rest of the field is doing just looking at where they stand. But, I mean, Oscar, and I mean, in that case, Phil as well. And Phil really, that gap is kind of becoming unmanageable, I think, for Oscar.
Yeah.
But they're coming up on lapping the 5th place position already, an hour into the race. So, I mean, the difference in pace is really starting to show through.
So we have Robert crawling ever so close to Nitrax onto the straight here. They're passing one of the Lambos.
Oh, yeah.
Robert having a slightly
Oh, yeah.
poorer exit into turn 1 because of the Lambo there. And this is the battle for 8th position, if I'm not mistaken.
According to my screen, this should be for 6th.
Okay.
Oh, a little bump.
Yeah,
A little bump.
very close. So both of these running on mediums, right? Or on softs?
These guys are both on softs.
Softs. So we have in the stream chat, we have Richard asking if this is iRacing. I suppose, considering that you think this is iRacing, means we're doing a very good job commentating, considering the lack of information on the screen. But no, this is Assetto Corsa. You are currently tuned into the Assetto Corsa Racing League, which is a racing league that you can find back on Reddit.
Ooh, Robert deploying energy, I think.
Yeah, you could hear it. You
Yeah.
can hear it in the engine.
And you can see that guy. Oh no!
Oh no! Oh my God, he hits him! Oh my
And he gets
God!
away.
Nitrax has been hit by the Lambo.
Yeah, I think that was. I think that was Mitcha, who he just kind of
Yeah,
caught the back
Mitcha's
end.
trying to make room there. That was painful.
And now Robert getting lapped by Phil. Wisely
Oh,
making
wow.
space for him. Oh no! He hits him. Oh no!
Oh my God! Robert hit Philip, or
Yeah.
Philip hit Robert?
Robert hit Philip. He missed his braking point. Somebody missed their braking point. It might have actually been. Been Philip. I think
I
he was
missed
on
it.
the inside, and he just kind of floated wide into Robert.
Are these guys teammates?
I do not believe so.
Because their cars look very similar. No, they're not the same.
Let me bring up.
No, they're not.
I might.
Wow, some interesting contact there. Very
Yeah.
sad for Mitcha, who obviously lost the rear under acceleration, then
Yeah.
tried to back off the power, and there was nothing he could have done to avoid.
It almost.
Nitrax at that
It
point.
almost looked to me like. I think Mitcha saw these two 919s just flying up in his mirror.
And he wanted to make room, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have to be quick."
It was just a
doesn't work.
really not the spot you want to see those guys coming up on you
Agreed.
into
yeah.
that final chicane, and I think he just.
Tomas putting down a
Wow.
158.1.
Yeah, I just saw that. Tomas just absolutely.
So Tomas is currently on mediums, and he has
We haven't
done
seen.
his job.
We haven't seen any of the GT's pit yet.
It's interesting though when you consider that Tomas just put down his fastest, but these are not his freshest tires, and,
Yeah,
and you do see that.
They could arguably be completely worn. Like those tires could be trashed by now.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very impressive to see, and it's gonna be, I think, no holds barred when he finally does pit. And I don't think he's pit yet.
Who
If
are
he
we talking about?
Tomas or any of the GTs for that matter, I haven't seen any of them head in yet. I can't imagine that they did. Let's see.
Yeah, usually you'll be able to tell from your app as well who's already pitted, but that's
Yeah,
unfortunately
and
not
I just
possible right
I
now.
just brought it up to check and see if it was at least doing that, and it's not. It seems to be frozen on
on
the
qualifying.
qualifying times. So, Adder, you know what to do.
I thought Ada would be racing this anyway.
I'm kind of surprised to see him not, considering he raced last season. I'm not entirely sure why. I know, you know, we're running 3 series, open wheel, GT3, and GTE. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for myself, getting ready and practicing for 3 series week after week until June is a little too much for me. Especially in these cars with the Lambo and the 919, they're very setup dependent. If you don't have a good setup, you're really going to have a really hard time. And to struggle for 2 hours with a car that doesn't have the best setup, it's not really that fun. So I would rather be the guy up in the booth on this race. And then obviously I take part in the open wheel and the GT3 series. But being from North America, we can still commentate on the GT3 races for the EU, that top split, and that's usually a very good race. As we just saw this past weekend at Imola, it was awesome.
I'm trying to find some battles here. I don't know if you have spotted anything. I'm kind of lost between the cars.
At this point, I'm keeping an eye on Tomas. I want to see when he pits and if he has yet or not. I really don't think he has. I feel like we would have caught it by now. But if he hasn't,
went off there. We had Philip run wide. Don't know what turn this is.
And we're really gonna have to keep an eye on Philip too, because
yeah, Philip and Pink. I'm very curious to see how this turns out.
I think around the 30-minute mark would have been about 45 minutes for Phil, when he would have theoretically had to use that second pit stop for fresh tires. And obviously Oscar, we thought was going to stretch those mediums into a full hour, but he pit at about the hour and 8-minute mark. So he's going to have that extra, 8 minutes roughly at the end of the race if he decides to go on one pit stop. And those medium tires were definitely pretty trashed at the end of that stint. But if he does opt to not go in and race this out, he has a really good chance, I think, at winning this. Just on strategy alone, because clearly Philip has the pace.
Absolutely agreed.
And we see now Philip catching up to Tomas, trying to do a pass. Yep, Tomas giving him space on the inside. Nice and tidy. As expected between these two, both experienced drivers.
I can't find him.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't jump around as quickly as we once could.
I'm only using control left and right.
I'm using the same. It's a bummer.
So
not very
again,
intuitive.
Again, need to apologize for the viewers. We are currently running without the normal league overview that you would expect to show you the standings. We're running very rudimental controls for the cameras, considering that one of the apps is broken, unfortunately. So apologies for the lack of information on screen, and as well our flashing through the cameras and flashing through the drivers. With that said, I'm gonna step away for just 2 or 3 minutes, Tony. So I'll be back in a second.
Not a problem at all. And Tomas still staying out. We might have missed that pit stop, I'm starting to think at this point. Hour 15. Seems pretty long for one set of tires. But I haven't seen any of these guys in the pit. You see Rune, that gap is really starting to get pretty unmanageable. But I think what's most interesting is that gap between Oscar and Phil. It was about 15 seconds, maybe 10 minutes ago, and it's down to 11. So Oscar really starting to chip away at that. Closest car behind him is Megadeth, and that's about 40 seconds, 45 seconds, a monster gap, and that's likely due to the extra pit stop that Mega's had so far, him and Pisani. But Yeah, here's to hoping. Maybe Pink can pull something off here. Some kind of trickery with the pit stops and make this final stretch interesting. Taking a lot of curb there. Let's hop on board with Oscar. And as you can see, the very crammed inside of this car. Very tight, kind of hard to see. You got some blind spots. This is obviously what the drivers are seeing throughout this race for 2 hours. Very cool car. And it looks like he's catching up here to someone. Robert Edward. And again, Oscar, the only 919 running medium tires, and as you can see, not really losing much pace from it. Oh no, that was sketchy. That was almost real bad.
What a miss, Ton.
Not a whole lot. I'm on board with Oscar here. Keeping an eye on that gap. It seems to be closing it. It's down to 11 seconds, which at face value is still a monster gap, but knowing that Phil's running those softs, and he should have a pit stop coming. Oh, and Edward not really giving way for the blue flag here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it is. He went wide. Made space. Good manners. Oscar through. The gap's now 10.5. It was 11.2, I think, last lap. So Oscar is really chipping away at Phil at this point, and I'm starting to wonder if Phil's tires are starting to get kind of shot.
I'm curious to see how long Pink can keep his pace up, considering obviously he pitted on 45 minutes, which is really early.
He's
Or no, he pitted on 50 minutes or so.
It was about 52, roughly. So again, we're waiting to see if he's able to make that last the whole race.
Oh my God, he didn't get enough room there from the Lambo. Looks like. Who was that? That's booked.
And the gap between second and third in the 919s is 44 seconds. I mean, it's unattainable at this point, especially with the knowledge that Mega and Pisani are both probably going to pit again in 11 minutes, as they seem to be going in for new tires every 30. And they're still kind of keeping ahead of those other guys, but I don't think there's any chance they're going to catch up to Oscar here, let alone Phil.
Seconds, the gap is widened. So Oscar lost a second and a half there on the last lap alone. That's really interesting. And I'm trying to figure out how much that has to do with the Lambo that was in the way.
Oscar losing some time on that last lap. 12-second gap now.
Yeah, he lost 1.5 seconds on the last lap alone.
I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Phil now because we're kind of getting close to his what should be his pit window. I don't see him stretching these softs for another 40 minutes. In fact,
Laszlo putting down a 158.9.
it's a good lap. Still see, and again, I don't know. We see William in the pits now. He was the guy running hards.
So who do we have leading for the GT class at this point?
It's still Tomas. I think by this point we can assume that they pit. We just missed it when we were dealing with the 919 stuff, but
yeah, agreed. So we have Tomas in front, and then we see Rune behind.
yeah, they probably pit around the hour mark. Probably new set of mediums, enough fuel to last the rest of the race. Tomas is way out in front. And then,
Tomas's last lap being almost a second slower than Rune.
Yeah, at this point though, let's see, where's Tomas on the track? Yeah, he's.
I can't tell you what the gap is.
It's got to be at least 15 seconds. Close to that. Yeah, it's. I think barring a mistake from Tomas at this point, and I say this about him constantly every time I broadcast a race and he's in it. Barring a mistake from Tomas, I think he's got this in the bag. He's so far out ahead. And he doesn't have to worry about getting caught by traffic, really, because all he has to do is just make room for the faster cars, and that's that. It's not like he's going to get held up unless someone hits him, which would be wildly unfortunate.
Godwin on the stream is saying that he thinks that Oscar lost out to traffic a little bit. I'm sure he has a point there.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case, and it fluctuates lap to lap. I think it was, we'll see, it was just 11.3 at that last lap.
On a completely unrelated topic, Toro Rosso just posted their Formula 1 car. It's blue. It's very strange.
Yeah, so Pink closing that gap by 0.4 of a second there. I mean, he's pretty consistently chipping away, and I think if he can get that down to around the 10-second flat gap, we're gonna see Phil pit again. It's just a question. Oh no, Phil runs wide. He runs really wide into the. He's in the infield. He's back on the track. Oh, huge mistake by Phil. Totally missed his braking point, it looked like.
And we have to remember that he is obviously running the softs.
Yeah.
So he needs to be careful.
And they're definitely in that window now where he stopped and swapped them last time. So he's got to be heading in soon. One has to assume, and then it really comes down again to Oscar and when if he takes another pit stop. Because if he doesn't and he stays on those mediums and he has enough fuel to end this race in the next 35 minutes, with the way he's kind of chipping away at that gap now,
Phil isn't coming in. Oscar isn't coming in. I don't know if that's what you're saying.
I don't think he is. One would assume he's not. And Phil's going in. Yep.
Yeah.
With Sarayan right behind him. So now let's swap over and see where Oscar's at. And he's coming. Oscar's coming down this front straight now. He's going into the final corner. So this is going to be a big lead. I mean, he's
coming in behind Phil.
That was Sarayan, who's currently in 5th place. So let's see. We'll find out when Phil's going to leave, but Oscar, I think.
Oscar is a red car, right?
Oscar is in the white car with the black and orange stripes.
All right. Keep an eye on the straight. Is he coming onto the straight right now? Is that him?
He's not coming onto the straight. He's coming up to the Yokohama curve and into Mercedes Arena shortly.
Who, Oscar?
Oscar, correct. Yep, he's now entering Mercedes Arena. No, I'm sorry. Never mind. I had that wrong.
That wasn't right.
No.
I'm
totally off. I had my turns messed up. He's in the. He's going into the Schumacher S right now.
I have a feeling that I'm confused now.
Yep, heading to the Warsteiner curve, And he's going to be entering the back straight right about now.
So with Phil having completed his pit stop, Oscar being half a track behind, what does that mean?
Oscar is ahead.
So he did overtake him.
Yes, he overtook Phil when Phil was just like entering the pits. He wasn't far off, especially
That's what I
after
said. Damn it! I asked you if he was going onto the straight, and you said no, that's not him. So I was like, okay, where is he?
At that time, he was already past it.
Wow.
So he's entering turn 1 right now, and Phil. Well, we'll get a time right now. We'll see where he's at.
Yep.
Oh, he's way back. Phil's way back. And this is what I mean. If Oscar does not pit again, he has this race. I don't see any way that Phil can catch up, because their times were not that drastically different.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the gap, considering
It's got to be at least 30.
Oscar could go for
40 seconds.
He can go for a set of softs. No fuel, just softs.
He could. Theoretically, he could. It'll be close.
I'm not saying it's worth
Ooh.
it. I don't know, but
Obviously, if I'm Oscar, the safe play, don't pit again. Just make those mediums, just will them to last the rest of the race. You have a 40-second gap to second place over a guy that admittedly he's faster than him by quite a bit, and
the strategy is paying off.
Oscar could win this race on strategy, which is incredible, and that's something I love to see, me personally.
About 10 minutes from now is when Oscar pitted on his first set.
He pit it was about an hour and 8 minutes left, so it would be probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, let's see how comfortable he can be with.
And that car was not comfortable. I mean, when he pit, you could see just watching him drive.
Exactly.
And right here we see it. I mean, the back end kind of getting thrown out there a little bit. I think Oscar would benefit himself to really stop pushing so hard. You have a 40-second gap. There's 30 minutes left. I mean, if you're running a second slower, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Unless he's pitting.
If he pits, then if he pits, it would be, in my opinion, that's unless he can't stretch the fuel. If he's pitting strictly because of tire wear, it would be a mistake in my opinion. I think you just have to deal with the tires being bad, and you just get the win.
I'm just thinking, because what you're saying is pushing so hard on these tires.
I mean, he might be thinking to himself, maybe I just keep extending this gap, but he's not. I mean, that gap now is 40 seconds. It was 41.5.
Yeah, but he'll know that too.
He definitely. You can bet he's monitoring exactly where Phil is behind him, and Phil's doing the same. And he's probably. It's it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know if he has enough fuel to make it last. Because it really would be an hour and 10 minutes, and I don't know how big. I'm not entirely sure how long they can run with a full tank, and if he even took a full tank.
He's going in. He's going in.
Oh no, Oscar! No. All right,
I knew it.
All right, here we go. Let's see where.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen.
Where's Phil at? Oh, he's pretty far back still.
I knew he was gonna go in. Let's see where this puts us.
Phil's coming down the back straight.
Yeah, copy. He's winning this one. All right, Oscar just came to a standstill. That's Phil passing him right now. Is that correct?
No, Phil's in the chicane. And he's making the final turn, going down the front straight. Is Oscar moving yet?
Nope. Oscar is stationary.
No. Yeah, he's done. He lost that.
So he is putting fuel in, obviously. And he's on his way. There he goes, and Phil takes the lead.
Oh, that's not much, though. That's not much at all.
This is going to be interesting to follow.
All right, Oscar, let's see what you can do now. And Oscar putting mediums back on.
Wow. Oh, he
cold tires.
Completely wide there.
Cold
yeah.
tires.
I don't understand the choice there for mediums. It has to be. It has to do with his setup, his comfort on those tires.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna stay with the status quo. He knows he's running close to Phil.
And I don't know if you know the tach temperature at this point, but
Well, the track is definitely at 100% grip, without a doubt.
yeah.
Oh, boy. I really would have liked to have seen him try to make that one pit stop, but to me it feels like his strategy was never to do that. If he's pitting this early, his first stint was about 52 minutes. His second was about 45, roughly, maybe a little less.
It's good to see some excitement still so late in the race, though.
Let's see if he can get around the traffic here. Maybe he gets some luck here. Maybe Phil gets caught up on that guy in the chicane. Doesn't look like it, though. Nope.
No.
He's safely passed. Ooh, this is, Oscar is really going to have to race out of his mind to catch up. He really is.
Oh, this is painful. Come on, out of the way. That's the MK. He did all right there.
2 second gap, 2.5 seconds.
He lost time over the last lap, though. So I'm not sure this is going to work for him. The danger now is that he will try and push it.
Yeah.
Which will only set you back even further.
And I mean, it's gonna take those medium tires. They'll probably be up to a temperature, I would say, towards the end of this lap, when he'll really start kind of putting in, I think, the times that are more typical. But at this point, Phil's just gonna, tuck his ears back and really just drive. And that's when he's at his most dangerous, is when he's really pushing. So he's got fresh set of softs on. He just pit about 10 minutes ago. The track's gripped in. Now it's time to just win the race. But definitely not just walking away with it.
No, it was tight. He will have been thinking, how will this pan out?
Yeah, I mean, it was. If I was Phil and I saw that guy on mediums and he's running medium stints, I'm getting pretty worried about my strat.
Looking at the GT3 Lambos, Rune still in front, obviously.
It should be Tomas in front of Rune.
You are correct, sir. It is Tomas. Apologies. Running 158.8. Rune doing 159.8, so second slower on the last lap at least.
Rune's, yeah, he's way back.
And then we have
Rune's also got a dirty car, so he must have gone for a visit in an infield at some point since we last checked in on him.
Yeah.
We have Pisani jumping ahead of Megadeth here. I'm not sure if that was again their pit strategy, because they are now in their window as well for when they wanted to pit. So we might have seen Megadeth pit on the last lap, and we're going to see Pisani go in here, as has been pretty much par for the course. Oh no. No, I take that back. Mega's out in front of him by quite a bit, probably about 20 seconds or so. Pisani's kind of stuck behind Rune here going into that final corner.
Yeah, taking the inside.
Yeah, about 20 seconds back. And we have Laszlo behind Rune. And he's pretty far back off them. The GT class really spread out. We see Trebuk
making another pit stop there.
Yeah, heading in.
But that's interesting because obviously this will be his second pit stop, I can only presume.
And I'll tell you what's interesting.
No, he reset the pits. He's quit.
Here's the really interesting play of the day. It was William Dyer, who we saw running hards. He's now on sauce. So he was stretching that first run out almost an hour and 20 minutes, and then he threw softs on for that final stretch. But
it doesn't really last, considering the other guys are also on a single stop.
Yeah, it's in theory, I think it sounds like an interesting idea, but
He was losing about a second. At
Yeah,
least
I
per
think
lap,
I think the pace difference between mediums and hards is just too much for him to overcome at this point. We see the, I think the MK is ahead of him, probably by about 10 seconds. So quite a bit. Meanwhile, we see Megadeth. He's catching up to the rest of the field here. Lapping Nitrax. Getting by him. Ooh, Nitrax really making room. Tomas coming down the front straight. Pisani getting by. And I have to say, you know, this whole race, I really thought there would have been some incidents between the two classes, but I don't know that we've seen any.
There's been very little. We obviously had Mitcha with
yeah, but that that wasn't even really so much the fault of the speed difference. It was really a racing incident where Mitch had just lost the car.
Sure.
And Nitrax just happened to get the worst part of it, which was unfortunate for him. But we're starting to really see the field.
Philip putting down 141 on his last lap, and let's compare that to Oscar 139.7. That is a very nice lap.
3.3 seconds.
Losing it there, I mean, right front braking, locking up on the braking there into turn 1.
Yeah, this is by no means over for Oscar. I mean, he's a very competent. I'm quite impressed. We saw him last season. He was in the GT2s, and during the Nordschleife race, he had one hell of a battle going, and he really drove hard that race. He did a nice job. But we'll see if he can catch up with Phil, who's unreasonably fast.
And thinking about it more with Oscar as well, I don't think that you can pit for, what was it, how long? Sorry, his fuel. I don't think his fuel could have lasted as long as we were hoping it would.
I have to assume that was the reason.
For him to pit, yeah. Because obviously the pit stop as well, it took much longer than just tires.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the first one, he almost made an hour. Like, he was 8 minutes off the halfway point. But maybe he was just about out of fuel at that point. He had he had a full tank, and he knew that he wasn't going to be able to make it by just that pit stop alone. So he just had to decided to pit a little earlier, get tires on that are going to last. I mean, those mediums are going to be fine. And we see 2.7 seconds. He just gained 0.4 on Phil.
Yeah, Phil's being held up though by Nitrax there.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of multi-class racing. Yep.
Yeah.
Sneaking by Rune.
So let's see what happens now with Nitrax.
Can Oscar get by these guys without any issues? That's going to be the real.
Oscar had to stay off his throttle there for a little bit.
Oh, he has to take an awkward line through here.
Yeah.
No, he does good with it though. And now you got to see, Only Vision's gonna have to make room here. Got to realize.
Yeah, very nice. He brakes early.
Very nice by him to give way for that battle. Oh man, I really feel like Oscar's really closing that gap up.
He is, and it surprises me with the mediums. It really does.
And I'll tell you, by the end of this race, in about 10 minutes, those things are really going to be running nice. And I think
the gap is only
Phil's going to be his tires are going to start to show some wear towards the end of this race.
Yeah, that's a good point. The time difference is only going to increase in their lap times. So he just has to stick it. He just has to. Painful chicane there.
Taking a little bit of curb, but I don't know. I think he might be all right. Let's see. And Phil taking that 4/10 back.
Phil with an awkward turn 1 due to William there.
And maybe Oscar can get a little help from the traffic to slow him up a little bit. Just to, I think if Oscar can get within striking distance. Oh no, that's not. Ooh. You know what? Good on William there. Again, nice job giving space.
Yeah. Oscar going slightly wide there, though.
You know,
regardless.
Oscar just wants to catch up though, and try to put some pressure on Phil when his tires are going to be starting to get worn to maybe make a mistake. It's a long shot, but it could happen. We see Mega putting down a 139.4. That's a nice lap by him.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Has to take the outside line. That's going to slow him up a little bit.
You could see the hesitation there with Tomas.
Yeah, he didn't really know what to do. Tomas wants to hold the line and just be predictable. That's generally the rule of thumb when you got a faster car coming. Don't do anything that they wouldn't anticipate. So, you know, it's up to the Porsches to really figure out how to get through traffic safely and effectively, but I think that's going to maybe open that lead up just a little bit more.
Phil clean through the chicane there, getting space from MK.
Oscar looking pretty good through there as well. A little bit of curbing, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, he seems to take the curb quite aggressively each time, I think, but I mean, he'll know what's best.
That's exactly right. Now let's see, can you get past this Lambo before this turn?
Yeah, he's okay.
7/10 gone. Up to a 3.8 second.
Oh, he's going slightly wide there on the braking as well.
Hard braking. Very hard.
But he's alright. He's alright. So Oscar was held up more than Phil, I think, on the last lap. Looking at their lap times as well,
without a doubt.
There being a 7/10 of a different.
And the traffic is definitely going to play into this battle. Now we see Phil is coming up on 2 Lambos right now. Got one done nicely. This could be bad for Oscar though, because I think he's going to have to deal with at least one of these Lambos through the Schumacher S.
Oh, no, he's alright.
Oh, but it looks like Phil also is here. He definitely is. Oh, he does a nice job.
He's not getting any time. He's not getting any space from Trebrucht.
Yikes. That might
completely in the way. I mean, at this point, these kind of actions can be a make it or break it.
Oh, without a doubt. All it takes is one incident between one of these two guys and one of the Lambos, and that's it. 17 minutes left.
It does kind of balance out, considering Oscar got he got held up a little bit more last lap. You know,
without a doubt. It's. Ooh, someone just went off there. I heard it. I don't know who though.
The Lambo?
I think it was. Oh, this gap I think just got a lot closer. Just looking at where he's at, 2.9 seconds. So shaving off.
Phil did a 1:4.26 versus a 1:4.17.
Definitely some of that traffic in the Schumacher S there. Didn't carry nearly as much speed as he wanted to. Oscar definitely licking his lips. Doesn't look like there's much in front of him now. This could be a very entertaining finish to this race.
Slightly wide there on the acceleration. Oversteering a little bit. How is Phil doing with his tires, do you think?
I think I have to assume it's been, let's see, he pit initially about 45 minutes in. So that seemed to be about where he was doing it, and I think his second one was about 40 minutes. So
he seems pretty steady to me. I mean, he's on rails.
Phil, I mean, he was even steady after that 45-minute stint, but I think
it was Oscar that started suffering from even on the mediums.
Oscar definitely did towards the end of that that long stint that he did, but I think Phil, you're not going to really see him struggling with the tires as much. I think he's knowledgeable enough about racing that he's just going to know that, hey, my tires aren't optimal. Like right there, he just slid a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
I'm just not going to be able to push as hard, so he'll adjust his driving accordingly. So you'll just see it in his lap times, but you won't necessarily see it in his driving.
But question, we saw Oscar going on 52 minutes on the mediums. He did his first pit stop. Phil was how many minutes when he did his first soft pit stop?
It was about 45.
45. So there's only 7-minute difference there.
Which is surprising to me, and that was why
Yeah.
I was a little shocked to see Oscar pit so early, but again, I think that some of this is due to the fuel. It just has to be.
Sure.
But we'll see.
Fair
I mean,
point.
Phil's tires are definitely going to start showing some wear here in this last 15 minutes, while Oscar's should be fine. Because he's only been on them for about 15 minutes now. Those mediums will last with hard driving for at least 40.
It doesn't seem to be crawling any closer at this point, though.
That gap looks like it's kind of extending a bit.
Yeah, so we had 3.2. The gap was 3.2 seconds on the finish. I don't know if you have anything that's more real time.
Nope, that's as good as it gets right there. For right now. And now we're at the point in the track where there's no traffic, but they will definitely come up on the traffic again before this race is over, and that could play a very big part in this.
Yeah.
And it'll be with time running out, I would assume. Like it's inside 6-7 minutes, they're probably going to catch back up with those Lambos again.
And did both Oscar and Phil race last season?
Oscar joined.
On GT?
Oscar
GT.
joined. Oscar joined late because he was from Redline Racing League. I think he was here for the final 2 races of season 6. Like I said, he was in the GT2 class. We ran. This was originally a 3-class series where we had the prototype, the GT2, and also the Cup car. This season we're going with a 2-class with just the Le Mans prototypes and the GT class, which again, if you didn't hear earlier, the Lambo is the kind of stand-in car until the Porsche RSR comes out.
Yeah.
And as far as Phil did not race last season. He originally came to ACRL, I believe it was in season 4 or 5, and he put some serious hurt on NA in GT3. He won every race by about 30 seconds.
Just to interrupt you there, the gap has increased, like you said. We're now at 3.3 seconds, so
it's going to come down to. Oh, are we catching up to some traffic now?
we have about 10 laps remaining, 9 laps remaining.
Yeah, I think in that ballpark. We're seeing Phil now. I'm on board with him. He's coming up to a Lambo. Should take him on the straight, but that could be. Oh, it might be an issue for Oscar though.
For Oscar, yeah. Let's see.
He had to lift slightly.
I think Oscar is gonna catch this guy on the main straight. So.
Oh no, that guy lost it. That was ugly. Laszlo. Kind of a little shaky.
This is painful. Oh no.
Oh, he forces it. Forces his will in there.
He
Definitely lost some speed there though. Definitely not the line you wanted to take.
3.7 seconds now. This is not looking good for Oscar at all.
So another 4/10's gone.
I want to look down a little bit further. So we have. Is it Samuel in 5th or is that messed up? That's messed up, isn't it?
No, that might be right. Yeah, Samuel, Roberto, and Soren. Jeez, that's really close. That's for position.
I'm trying to find out the gap between
Roberto,
Megadeth, and Bassani.
Roberto with a nice inside take. And again, these 3 919s here are racing for position. So we have Edouard, Samuel, and Soren. 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, gotcha. Be interesting to see what Sarayan can do here.
Yeah. Oh no, he pushes too hard.
Just as we say that.
He got on the gas. He was a little excited there. I think he. Oh. Samuel locking him up though.
Yeah, that's.
Oh
Even
no.
the blade field
Soren had to hit the brakes there.
Yeah, it's not a point where you can overtake very easily. It's better to
Wow,
sit
he
back
just flew by him though.
and... Wow, did he let go of the power, or
I
was
think
that hybrid?
I think that had to be a hybrid energy. There's no no way he would have flown by him like that. Now let's see if Samuel maybe gonna return the favor on the straight here. Oh, it sure looks like it.
Looks like it.
It sure looks like it.
Yeah. It's insane. The speed
Sounds
difference
like
is
it.
insane.
There he goes. Oh, they're
No,
side
he's
by
on the
side though.
outside.
Side by
Nope,
side.
he's-
Saran locks
he's
him.
not gonna make it.
Oh,
He's
he
not gonna
holds
make
on.
it.
Very nice driving there. Very
Very good,
nice.
yeah,
Nice job,
very
Saran.
good.
That was awesome.
It was. I think that Samuel was trying to time his hybrid
Oh,
power. pretty
Oscar
well
Pink down to 2.5 seconds.
there. Okay, something happened there, and we also have Samuel overtaking Sarayan there easily. I don't know if that was hybrid power once more, but
And I'm wondering
have,
if the fluctuations between Phil and oh no, Oscar, ooh, almost losing it. Very close to losing it there. I wonder if the
Okay.
differences in lap times. Oh no, did he? No, we're okay. Okay. I wonder if it is taking that ERS deployment in the account here. Why they could
I've
be
got
different.
no idea. Yeah, I've got no idea.
They
There's
could
an
be
interesting
deploying
battle
on
between
different laps.
Samuel.
All right, let's see. Let's check in.
Yeah, it's. Oh wait, we have Phil in some traffic now into the chicane between two hurricanes. I think
Looks like he
that
got
played out
okay.
pretty well. Yeah.
But now can Oscar take them before turn 1? He should be able to.
I think the first hurricane at least.
Oh no.
There he goes. Yeah, he's
yeah.
okay. He's okay. So we're now back to 3 seconds between Phil and Oscar. Oscar choosing a very tight line through turn 1.
Yeah, and with 8 minutes left, this is definitely
Quite tense, yeah.
coming down to the wire here. Phil
So
just
again,
can't
I
seem
wanna
to
have a
shake
look.
him.
So we have Sarayan in 7th position. Samuel is going into the pits. What is going on here?
Maybe
What is this?
ran out of gas.
Oh no.
That's interesting.
He overtook Sarayan. Super easy on the straight. So I was like, okay, he's done. That's 5th position for him. But this is interesting. Let's see what he does. Yeah, he's back on his way. I think that will have been some fuel, maybe. I'm not sure. Interesting. How are we looking in the front there?
Oscar racing like his life depends on it here. Very quick through the chicane.
Gap
Very
will
quick
still
through
be
the-
about 3 seconds, though, I think.
Yes.
2.3. Wow.
Yep. Oscar is
Okay.
really, he's putting his, he's pinning his ears back. He's getting after it now. And you know, Phil may be feeling a little bit of the, bit of the heat now.
Yeah.
No pressure, no diamonds.
Yeah, he is really.
Oh, Oscar sliding. Yep, those tires are starting to. I'm surprised
that-
Oscar's kind of sliding as much as he is on those tires, but I think Phil's having just as much trouble at this point.
It's like you said, though, you don't really see it so easily with Phil.
No, he's pretty in tune with the limits of that car and the limits of his driving with where those tires are at. But I guarantee you that they're definitely not in the green anymore.
I'll say,
Oh,
Oscar running completely wide off the
no,
track
missed
through the
his-
sand there.
Missed his braking point. That's gonna hurt.
That will put him a second back.
That's gonna hurt. Oh, taking the Schumacher S very aggressively.
It's like you said with the tires really coming into play now. This is it.
Uh-oh. We got
What's up?
Mitcha here in the chicane. Boy, Oscar's catching every Lambo at this final corner.
This is so painful.
Is he going to give him space?
Oh,
Yes.
good job. Good job. Very nice.
Car gets a little slidey there.
Yeah, I see that. It's done
3.6.
for Oscar, I'm pretty sure. 142 for Oscar versus a 140.8 for Phil. This is it.
Yep, 1.2 second swing. That definitely hurts. If Phil can just run a clean lap or two here, we got about the running.
Oh, look at the sliding. That's insane. We have a
Running
lot of
low
oversteer now
40s.
for Oscar.
Yeah, and I think some of that's probably he's pushing. He
Of course.
really wants to catch up here. 140 left. I'd give it probably another 3 laps.
Yeah, I'd say 3 laps, and that's not enough to break down a 3.6 second gap unless Phil makes a mistake, which is highly unlikely to happen at this stage. If you see it, how steady he is with the car. Oscar going wide again.
Yeah, he's having a lot
Through
of
turn
trouble.
8.
He's having a lot of trouble there.
Yeah,
But
it's
let's
the,
see, we're gonna-
it's the front left, I believe, that's blocking at that point.
But again, I don't know when they're gonna catch up with that big pack of Lambos. It looks like some
No,
of them
they're
are
still-
about on the front straight right now.
So Phil is going through the Schumacher at the moment, and there's no traffic up until the main straight. So
4 minutes. I don't know. That 20-second gap is pretty crazy, especially if these guys are gonna be deploying, which I have to assume at this point they're really gonna be pushing hard.
Sure. I just don't see it happening.
Let's see where
Let's
we're
see
at.
what the gap
It's
is.
gonna be
I think we're about 4.5 seconds or so.
close.
3.7.
Oh, there's yeah, they're gonna catch up to traffic, without a doubt. There's quite a few Lambos ahead of them.
Got you. I
They're,
see it.
it's gonna be probably under a minute that they're gonna catch up to like the meat of them. But I saw Rune. I saw a lot of the faster Lambo drivers that maybe are not as apt to just throw away a lap to get over for these guys.
I hear you.
Laszlo. I don't really see any immediate battles.
No, everything is pretty spaced out at this point.
Oh, Laszlo's kind of catching. Oh no, that's a lapped situation.
So Phil hitting the first Lambo here, going through the Schumacher, the straight there.
Yeah, flashing his lights, letting him
no
know. Uh oh,
issues.
this could be bad.
What is going on there
Oh,
through the
this could be
chicane?
bad.
Okay, he's being held up incredibly bad there. I'm in a terrible camera position.
That
But
was
the same is going to happen to Oscar right
oh
here.
no! Oh no!
Oh
Phil.
no! Are you kidding me? Same
Can-
with Oscar though. Same
Oscar
with
got caught up too. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So both drivers held up incredibly painful.
2.9.
2.9. I'm not sure though. I think that gap will have extended quite because
And that was really a perfect storm situation there because there was Lambos getting blue flagged by other Lambos, so they were trying to make room for them.
yeah.
And then at that exact time, Phil caught back up to him. So now you have cars all over the place. There's some guys getting over to let their guys in the same class through. Meanwhile, you have the prototype class trying to break through, and they're in the middle of a heated battle on the last lap. But yeah, like you said, looks like it's not going to be enough here unless Phil makes a horrific mistake here.
How likely is that to happen?
This might be the last lap. There might be
Oscar
one
again locking up the front brake through
more. He's really pushing hard through that corner there.
I mean, it might work for him, right? Even with the locked up tire.
It could, and at this point, I don't think he's trying to conserve him.
No.
I actually think there might be one more lap. If Phil crosses that line before that timer runs out, we have one more lap. So we're at 30 seconds. It's going to be very close. Oh, Rune getting over. That's gonna suck for Oscar.
Move out of the way. He does. Very nicely done.
There's gonna be one more lap. Oh God, there's gonna
It
be.
does look like we have one more lap with 4
Yep,
seconds.
we do. Oh,
One more lap.
that timing not benefiting Phil there. Leaders on the final lap, and we're down to a 1.3 second gap.
Wait a minute.
Oh boy. Can Oscar
This is
make
insane.
magic happen?
This is absolutely insane. Phil will be getting nervous. Oscar will be pushing, is sliding the rear through that turn.
I almost wonder if Phil tried to lift to cross the finish line after the time expired because it was so close.
I was thinking that might happen, but he will have seen with 4 seconds, that's a lot of lifting. Oscar going very wide through that turn.
Can Oscar make it happen here and not push too hard?
Again,
He locks him
locking
up, but that's...
ever so slightly.
Ooh, man, is that close though? All right, is there any Lambos in front?
I don't
There
think
is.
there are.
There's
oh,
two.
Oscar
There's
going
two.
slightly wide over the grass, but he's all right.
There's two Lamborghinis in front of them that they will have to make their way through.
Oscar taking these turns with the grass on the inside of the apex very aggressively.
All right, we're on board with Phil. Coming up to the final corners here. He's gonna have to deal with one of these Lambos through the
Oscar
chicane.
again is gonna hit the. Is gonna hit the. Both of them at least.
Yeah. Oh, Oscar got caught behind him. He thought he was
So
gonna
did
stay on the
Phil, so did
inside.
Phil. This is it.
Oh.
Very nice.
That's
Very
a close.
nice racing
That's a
from
very close race.
Oscar
Wow.
doing a bit of skidding there.
Oscar doing. That's a way to put up a fight. That was a fun race to watch.
That was amazing.
Fantastic racing by Oscar and Phil. Very close down the end. It was a 1.1 second gap at the end of the race.
It's interesting to see that Phil put down a 1:41 on the last lap versus Oscar doing 1:40.7, so 0.3 of a second faster.
Yeah, and you know, Oscar kind of got some help from the traffic there on Phil, but then it came back to bit him, and he couldn't capitalize because he himself got caught. But very, very nice driving from those two. And then to the GT, Tomas getting the win.
Yeah, but very quickly. So we have Phil in position 1. We have Oscar in second, Sylvain in third for the
prototypes.
For the Porsche, yeah, for the prototypes, and then for the GT, you were saying we have Tomas in first.
Tomas in first, Rune in second, and Laszlo in third.
You know what? I haven't really spotted a lot from Laszlo, so it must have been a quite. Did we miss some battles with Laszlo? I can't recall any significant battles.
No, the GT class pretty much it opened itself up early, and the gaps just became insane. I mean, Tomas won by 20 seconds, Rune took second by 20 seconds, and Laszlo beat fourth by 40 seconds. So it was pretty obvious early on the way that was going to go. There really isn't much you can do as far as strategy with those cars when everyone's just changing at the halfway mark. It wasn't quite like the 919s where there was significant pit strategy involved. And you know, I wonder if Mega and Pisani are going to maybe try to change up that strategy for the next race. Instead of going with the 3 pit strat, maybe try to do 2 like everyone else. They did take an extra pit stop, and if I'm not mistaken, and Mega already left the server, but I'm pretty sure he was down off Oscar by about 40 seconds. And that was about how long we saw that extra pit take. So he could have been right there with them had they not taken that extra pit stop.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
But only time will tell. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
Very quickly looking at the race calendar, I think the next weekend, is it an open wheel race or is it?
Next weekend is GT3. It is GT3 at the
Red Bull
Ring, correct. So
the 5th of the 3rd, is that right?
Yes, I think it's the
Yes, that is right. And then we have open wheel the weekend after that on Brands Hatch.
correct.
And then is it GTE again? No, not yet. Then
Yeah,
it's
after that it's
GT3
GT3,
again.
then it's GTE. So GTE and
Yeah.
open wheel alternate on off weekends with GT3 since that's the long series. But that being said, we'll be back next weekend to cover the GT3 race at Red Bull Ring. At least I will.
Yes,
I would assume Black Maze you'll be there.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say that we will be back for the GT3 series next weekend. I want to give a huge shout out to Uncle Tony with all of his vast knowledge on all these people. I think you've done an awesome job,
I try.
and I want to thank you for letting me be a part of it. So thank you very much.
This is great. It's nice having someone else in the booth because it was just me for a while.
And as well for Wayne and Twiz who popped in very shortly, especially Wayne with some extra information on the tire wear and the tire usage and the strategies. So thank you for tuning in and helping us out. And with that, I'll end the stream and say thank you very much and hopefully see you next Sunday.
Take care, guys.